Cool. How's it going, everybody? And welcome back here to our live coverage. I don't just want to admit that we were still talking. We had about 20 minutes where Rob and I were completely talking and still going on with everything. And it turns out that we weren't live. So you guys missed out on some may I say, P1 content. But we're still going to go live here. We're going to cover, I think Rob and I said about the first half of the draft.
Yeah.
So, looks like Miami just made a pick. So we are about to go back to the commissioner, Rob Manfred.
CJ Abrams going to have to make a decision on him. This was their consensus guy.
All right, here we go. Rob Manfred's up. Miami is about to make their selection.
The seventh pick of the 2025 MLB draft, the Miami Marlins select Iva Arquette, a shortstop from Oregon State University.
I think he was projected to go there, wasn't he?
Yes.
They've been talking about him for quite a while.
He was projected about 7th, 8th in that zone. So he did end up going right around where he was projected to go the entire time. I'm trying to think, who's their current shortstop? Dakota Norton? Yeah, he's second base, I think. Second and third.
This is an organization with a plan, obviously, right? They've been talking about this kid the whole time. They went out. He was still there. They got him. We've been all over the map, not knowing what direction we're going in, or if we did. They weren't really broadcasting it overall. But this is, it's awful to me still. I just can't believe it. Like we said, we were talking about it off screen. We're going on a little rant that Fernando was saying he really wants a kid to be successful, and so do I. Don't get me wrong, guys. It's tough overall. If you're going to have an opportunity, it's almost like you're buying a new car, right? If you can buy a Ferrari at the same price for a Honda, what are you going to do? Most people are going to buy that Ferrari for the same price. But
yeah,
I just can't believe the thought process of this thing, Josh. Josh, not a fan anymore. Man, it's tough to love this team. It is very tough.
Sometimes it absolutely is. I'm trying to see any.
There's no plan here. There's no long-term organizational plan. Because, again, I still think you drafted a bullpen arm here. This was a bullpen move. And you wasted a number 2 pick on a bullpen arm. When you're done.
There that is, right there.
I mean, I can see the frustration there. It's there. I totally get it.
It spritz o'clock, though, according to Grillmaster. You know what? I need some water, so maybe I'll just for our sanity, maybe I'll just play it for a quick second, just for prosperity, if I can find it.
It's not going to go off on a tangent still, because everyone's coming in. And this is Perry's, last year of his deal?
If memory serves correctly, yes. I'll look that up real quick.
You're hinging this whole pick on the last year of your deal. This is the kid you chose. You better have seen something that no one else in that freaking draft saw.
He's been extended through 2026 with a 2027 option.
I cannot believe that.
Yeah, so he's got this year and next year in theory.
Big Red Faithful, I am 100% with you. I wanted Arnold so bad. We talked about it on the show with Dominic around the league. Or no, excuse me, not around that James show. It was a minor league report. We were talking about that. And I thought Arnold had the swing and miss type stuff for a left-handed pitcher. And he is major league ready today. I honestly believe that. And I'm a huge Perry fan. I've always stood up for Perry. But this one right here really pisses me off. You had a golden opportunity. There was 3 guys, not 1, not 2. You had 3 guys that were top tier, ready to go, left-handed pitching today. That could have come up into the league later on in August, September, because that's the BS we'd choose to do because we don't have a minor league system. Granted, do I still think Seth Hernandez is probably the best pick overall for us? Would have been if we had a development team. overall. But even this kid needs developing. He's a bullpen arm. I still look at him as a bullpen arm. Tell me if I'm wrong, but is 80 innings a lot for you? It's not. It's not enough. Not here. Not for the Angels. If you're going to be a bullpen arm, great. But not for a starter. We needed the guy with the swing and miss type stuff as a starter. And we're going to need left-handed pitching because Kikuchi's only here for so long. Anderson's gone after this year. I can guarantee you that. This kid would have stepped up. It would have been great. I don't think Al Grotti is going to be the guy we think he is. I think that's a piece you move at the trade deadline if you're buying. Or to see if you can flip it for another guy for prospect or Edward Cabrera type thing. Someone under control that's major league proven.
All right, let's tune in here.
The 8th pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the Toronto Blue Jays select JoJo Parker, a shortstop from Purvis High School in Purvis, Mississippi. The Cincinnati Reds have the next pick.
Well, this is a big one here for the
All
Park.
right, there you go. You guys see up right there, the Blue Jays just drafted Caillou.
I didn't notice I'm glowing on the screen right now.
What's that?
I didn't notice I was just glowing on the screen right now.
Oh, I thought you were doing it on purpose. You had, as the kids say, aura.
Yeah, it's my soul leaving my body after that freaking pick. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah. Let me real quick share what friend of the podcast, Taylor Blake Ward, had to say. So Tyler Bremner is indeed a shocking pick at number 2. Plus of a pair of plus weapons and ability to locate both of his pitches, 2 out of his 3 pitches. Most of his down year came from horrendous defense behind him. But he is a quick mover, which should be no surprise for the Angels.
There's 3 other guys who are quick movers too, who have proven in a tougher SEC schedule or the ACC at that too. Great, I'm not saying that he's wrong, that he doesn't know what he's talking about, but at the same time, I'm not a big fan. Yeah, he has two legitimate pitches, 2 dominant pitches, fastball, changeup, in that. But as you know, as we've seen too, these guys who dominate in high school and college and try to sink a fastball by a major league hitter, it doesn't happen anymore. Unless you're throwing the 101, 105 era like how Ben Joyce is, where it's a complete shock. Or you have a type of movement like a Jamie Arnold has. It's like you said too, and even passing up on Holiday, Marty says it right there. How do you do that? That guy sells. And Artie Moreno is in the entertainment business. He's not in it for winning. So that's a shock to me that he's going to get that guy. Unless they knew there's some problem going on with him, maybe holding out, wanting to go where he wanted to at the end because he has the flexibility to go to college, or JC.
Give me a second. I really want to hear from Ethan, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
this is a really incredible opportunity. I'm so driven by faith, and I'm so grateful, and the Lord has really been the centerpiece of my life, and I don't even know what words I can put to this, but the Rockies organization, I'm just so thankful, and obviously with the family and the background, and my dad being drafted by them, and that just adds such a cool thing, and knowing everybody in the organization since I was born. So I'm super thankful.
Hey, Ethan, it's Dan O'Dowd. I mean, I'm ecstatic for you. I think it's a great fit for you in your career. I think you're going to do phenomenally well there. I mean, I really know the impact your dad has made on your life, but no one ever asked you about your mom. So, I know your mom has played an incredible role in your life. Can you tell us how much Leslie has impacted you into the young man you are today?
No, I mean, I think I'm not a crazy emotional person, but when you have your mom next to you telling you that this is going to be great, and she's there to congratulate you, and just she's loved on me my whole life, and she's for my baseball career, she doesn't get talked about enough, and I love her. I mean, thinking about what she's done for my life makes me emotional, but she's, as you know, she's a superstar.
Hey, Ethan, it's Harold here. We could go so many ways to ask you questions, but I want to ask you, when did you pass Jackson in height?
You know what? I think it was probably in 8th or 9th grade, I think. So it's been kind of a while. He
All right. Nothing. I was hoping for, I guess, a little bit more on hey, how's it going to feel, going to Colorado? We haven't gotten to that part of the conversation yet. Just seems like some chit chat. But I am excited for Ethan Holiday. I don't know if he's going to be better than his brother. I think his brother is going to end up being a better overall player. Ethan Holiday has a lot of swing and miss to his game right now. And as said earlier, he's kind of projected to be a first base type guy.
Yeah.
The good news for Colorado is they've got nothing really set in stone long term right now. I mean, who's their franchise player by default? McMahon? And
I think so.
Isn't he kind of like projected right now to be traded at the deadline?
Traded. Yes, to bring prospects back, and I believe it's going to be to build around Ethan Holiday now too.
Yeah, and was it you who had said that you'd like somebody in the group chat had said they'd like taking a flyer on him?
That was
it
not
you?
me. No.
Okay, it might have been Dom.
Yeah, this is incredible right now. It's just the comments are not happy, but yeah, this kid's gonna put, like you said, he'll put people in the stands, to get him excited. I think he's gonna be a little bit better hitter only because of the elements in which he's playing in, as we've seen. The elements help him out. So,
yeah,
I mean, the Rockies, their star player right now too. You take someone else away. Was it Mickey Moniak?
With the ninth
Maybe we should
pick
trade for that guy.
of the 2025 MLB draft, the Cincinnati Reds select Steele Hall, a shortstop from Hewitt-Trussville High School in Trussville, Alabama.
Wow, Billy Carlson's still out there, right?
Yeah.
I'm shocked by this pick here.
Steele Hall. Yeah, I didn't do a lot of research on Steele Hall.
The way this draft is going right now, is there a chance that we see Bremner in the second round that could have been there? I mean, I know we have another supplemental pick at 105 because someone didn't sign last year. If Jamie Arnold falls down that far, I'll be extremely happy. I doubt it. Someone's going to take him, obviously, but
so bad
that'd
news
be great
for
for
the
us.
Angels. Sam Blum just asked Angels scouting director Tim McLavlin on if they expect Tyler Bremner to sign with the Angels below slot value, and he said no, not necessarily. So I think Taylor Blake Ward had let us know that if they're not able to secure that, the pick, you lose, I think, about $10 million in that value. So it's just like that's just money that's lost.
Yeah.
So it's not even like you can just put it elsewhere. It's interesting how that works.
This is crazy to me, but yeah, I mean, we can go through comments a little bit here. Everyone's just kind of going nuts about this pick here, but
yeah, please, if you want to, I'm trying to make a post right now. So yeah, if you want to read some of those comments, Rob, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Let's go ahead and say, scroll up to the top. Josh said he's saving money for the 15th round. Yeah. Big Red Faithful says, I watched a lot of college baseball. Arnold was ready to go. And Dom hit the nail on the head with him. He is a Chris Sale type pitcher. Grillmaster says, let's face it, Perry's just a puppet to Artie. Yeah. I mean, what do you think? I think he is. I personally do.
Absolutely. I mean, we've known that about any of the managers and just really the front office people that have come up in any capacity, whether it's a general manager or whoever. I mean, they're all just figureheads, right? I mean,
yeah,
you can only do so much. It's kind of like the whole thing where people are like, I don't want to. This isn't my realm too much, but I mean, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, boo, the president's Trump, Biden, whatever. It's like presidents are kind of figureheads, right? It's kind of like the cabinet,
Congress, and yeah,
Congress. Those are the guys really pulling the strings for any administration.
Yeah, they can block everything
here. I think that with the general manager, the managers, you're only doing so much. You're doing what the people above you tell you to do. So we all got mad because like Phil Nevin wouldn't go to guys like 3 straight nights in a row in these like clutch situations where you need your closer that third game. And we were always like, man, F Phil Nevin, what are you doing? Use your closer, use Carlos Estevez again. And then after that, it was the same thing with Ron Washington. And now it's the same thing with Montgomery. So it's kind of like, does it really matter who the manager is if we're just doing the same thing? You're just kind of a figurehead, Rob.
Yeah, you are. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. It's tough on that. But let's see. Big Red Faithful says we pick up a kid from UCSB who hasn't pitched anyone. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see his resume on who he's played, because playing Cal State Fullerton and struggling Long Beach State and all those schools, granted, I know they play UCI, but it's a different element, I think, to go to the SEC and watch all these guys who are getting picked in the top 10 and everything, and they're playing day in and day out. But yeah, let's put it up right now on the screen right there. That's crazy. The perimeter was 14 in the slot. Strange 26 says, good luck trying to market that number 2 whose arm is not top tier. And that was another thing, right? Is marketing the future. There's a big free agency coming up next year, right? And it's a big swing and miss here. It's a big swing and miss, in my opinion, so far. Again, I hope, like Fernando's reiterated, we hope he proves us wrong, come in with the chip on his shoulder and shove it up our ass. I really hope he does, and turn it up to be like a Shane Bieber for the Indians or the Ohio team. Hopefully he turns into be that UCSB type guy. Big Red Faithful says, watch out for Kason Cunningham. Shortstop helped coach him. Oh, that's pretty cool, man. Corey Hughes, do we think if Phillips is available, the Angels pick him over Tyler? What do you think?
If who's available?
If Willits was available, would the Angels taking him?
I mean, I don't think so. I think they were just about always going to go pitcher. I don't know. I just feel like Perry almost feels like he has a chip on his shoulder for pitchers, because that's the one thing he hasn't proven to be good at drafting, right? How many good pitchers has Perry drafted? I love – hold on, give me a second.
Draft, the Chicago White Sox select Billy Carlson, a shortstop from Corona High School in Corona, California.
There you go. That is the second person to be drafted out of Corona. Good for that program. Absolutely great for him. I believe manager's name is Andy Wise. Some Wise. Oh, I just went backwards. But good on Corona High School. Really, really exciting for them. What was I going to say? Perry really hasn't proven that he is good at drafting pitchers. Who's the most successful arm that has come out of the Perry Manassian regime? By default, is it Ben Joyce? Is it?
I think it's Joyce. It's Joyce.
Yeah.
But that's a flamethrower. I mean, you knew what you were getting in that. They helped him develop a secondary pitch, a slider that helped him out greatly. I think this year and last year at the very end, he looked a lot better. But I mean, it was hard not to, right? The guy had somewhat good command in Joyce and that fireball, the fastball like that. But I'm gonna say Bachman was a miss so far, because we tried to make him a starter. He's truly a reliever. Not that he's a bad player. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying that. But when you go to draft a starter, but you take a reliever and try to turn him to a starter, and the project fails, now you're back to reliever. And where's your hole right now in the organization? Lack of starting pitching.
Yeah, I guess the only positive for the Angels is that it seems like the bulk of the things to be excited about are future starting pitchers, right? Right now, Aldergetty is kind of one of those guys that we're supposed to be excited about. Clausen's one of those guys that we're supposed to be excited about. So
I'm excited about him. I'm not excited about him at all. I'm not. I'm really not. It's just not a
Clausen?
Guy. No, Clausen, I'm really excited about. I think he has some stuff. Looks good. I'm Dana and Algrati. I'm not saying that wrong. How do you say his name? The Italian kid?
Aldergetty. Sam Aldergetty.
Aldergetty. I'm not too big on those on Aldergetty and Dana. I'm really not. I think their stuff's a little bit flat. They have control issues at that. I know they're still young, but we don't have the developmental team in the minor league system, in my opinion, to take these guys to the next level.
I like Aldergetty a lot, honestly. Kaden Dana, we've kind of seen some positive out of the kid, some success. Really, it was just that first two starts. And after that, it's hard to blame him for his lack of success this year when he's gotten called up, because I think it was more the organization failing him than anything else. You can't misuse somebody and then all of a sudden get mad at the kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, tough overall. I mean, a couple people still saying here, Ethan's pissed. I don't think he's pissed. He says Ethan's pissed. He's going to Colorado. He grew up there.
Yeah,
His
no,
childhood was there. I think he's comfortable.
honestly, I think for him, going to Colorado is probably the best possible situation. I can't speak on behalf of their development team, but dude, you get an opportunity to play for the organization that your dad had a pretty storied
run.
career.
Yeah, he had a great.
You know-
We went to the World Series, no?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 2007, right? That was the year he didn't touch home plate.
We're still waiting for him to do that.
Yeah, legend
Padres
says
got
he
robbed.
still hasn't done it.
But
Yeah.
this is troubling. The more and more you read into this, like you go online, and I know online's like a black hole, guys. We could deep dive into this, and just to see everyone thinking that Tyler Bremner's a late round pick, first round pick. He's going. Some have him at 20, some have him at 25. You really hope that everyone else is wrong and the Angels hit, but at the same time, we know that we have the worst scouting department by far. Honestly, by far, it's troubling. It's absolutely troubling right now for me.
Any other new comments?
We're backed up. Corey Hughes says Ethan wants to stay as shortstop, and the Rockies fit that move for the future compared to other teams. He could. That is true. Rockies have more flexibility, and they're going to do whatever they can to keep him there.
Yeah, they have the money.
They do. It's just who wants to go there until the organization takes a turn. But with him going there and McMahon being traded, that's a youth movement. A complete rebuild can't happen there, and they're in the driver's seat. Harmon, that's just your comment, man, for calling me bald. But it says Arnold is MLB ready. Hook Rod. Yeah. Okay, he's agreed. Okay, you're good. You're good, Harmon. You're cool again. Andrew Rivas says it's fucking pathetic. You can't justify supporting the organization. They really let Cade go to the Mariners. Now we're gonna watch him shove it to the Halos in the next decade. So now that is interesting. They can. Don't get me wrong, they can.
Anytime, real quick, Rob, give it a quick second.
Hey, the Texas Rangers have the next pick.
All right, well, for the Seminole, he was not.
That's the guy fucking wanted.
There
That's
you
the
go.
guy.
So Jamie Arnold
That's
is
the guy
going
who's
to
going to shove it up
Oakland.
our ass. Now we have two guys going to shove it up our ass. You know what? I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to say that the Mariners are historically bad on keeping these guys long term. They're known to trade for immediate success to try to make a postseason run. So I wouldn't be surprised if later on this guy became some type of a big deal, big move. But they hold on to him now. I do agree. Yeah, he's going to shove it up our ass just like Jamie Arnold is right there. And if you guys read or listen to what they're talking about Jamie Arnold right there, it's giving me some good stuff. This guy was a type of guy that we needed. Look at that sweeper versus right-handers. That's insane right there. The command is there. This is the guy I really wanted. I was really excited to have the opportunity to draft a guy like this. And if it was Anderson, all those guys, I wouldn't have been disappointed. I wouldn't have been as happy. But this guy is major league ready. I think this guy, you're going to see him pretty quickly up in major leagues. And he's going to shove it up your ass right there. He's a perfect guy to be in Vegas for when they get there. It's going to take, 2 more years?
Yeah, at least 2 more years. I mean, they just, I think 2 or 3 more years because they just broke ground a couple weeks ago, and they just had the groundbreaking.
Big Red Faithful says this is going to hurt the Angels. It's going to haunt the Angels' history. I mean, this just might. Like I said, though, earlier before this draft started, it's tough having an MLB, right? You see number 1 picks overall who never work out, Mickey Moniak being one of them, right? He's supposed to be some type of great player. 2016 draft number 1 overall, doesn't make it. There's historically tons of guys like that first overall pick that don't work out. They're good in high school, good in college, gets to the pros, just doesn't happen. Marty says if the Angels continue the path of more pitchers, we're screwed. Yeah, because we need outfielders too. I mean, Fernando said Jace Laviolette was a good one. And he is. He's going to be taken later first round, I believe, right?
Yeah, he's projected to go somewhere in the 20s. But the way today's going, who knows? But if there is a way that he's able to fall into that 30-ish range, I wouldn't mind the Angels taking a good long look at him because it's not like he had a bad year. I think it was bad. He batted like 280 when it was all said and done.
He struck out a lot.
Yeah, but also here's the thing. You and I are very similar in the sense of, and so is Todd. we like old school type hitters, right? We like the Gwynns. We like guys like Shanuel who are just pure major league hitters. They take the ball wherever it's pitched. They don't do too much. They let the bat do all the work, right? They let the swing path and science essentially do all the work. You know, they're not swinging for the fences. They're not caring about the launch angle. If it comes, great. If it doesn't, who cares? So that era of baseball is dying, right? It doesn't exist anymore. It's essentially over. And nowadays we live in a world where you can get called up immediately after you get drafted. As long as you're going to produce 30 home runs a year, you're going to drive in 70 to 80 runs. They don't care if you strike out 150 times, right? A strikeout's an out. Who cares? And I don't agree with that. But unfortunately, that's just baseball these days. And it really is. All right, let's go back to Rob Manfred real quick.
Pick of the 2025 MLB draft, the Texas Rangers select Gavin Fien, a shortstop from Great Oak High School in Temecula, California.
Man, on another California guy coming out
Temecula
of
kid at that.
Yeah, another local guy. So there you go. You have it right there.
Josh just says, if we get Jace, I'll forgive Terry. We don't have another pick for a while.
Yeah, what is it? Are we 32?
No, that's a supplemental picks. We don't get another supplemental pick till 100.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, we don't get because we didn't have a qualifying offer that was extended this year, and we certainly didn't have one that was rejected. We did get one when Ohtani didn't come back, and that's where we ended up getting Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
Hey, for the record, he ended up so far being a very exciting prospect in his own right. I mean, I'm sure you're going to bring up the shutout he just threw.
Yeah, I mean that one hit shutout in high A and all that. But again, it's just we're messing with the kid. We have him working out of the bullpen all spring training long, and then you go to develop him. Hey, you're in the major leagues, spring training. You leave him out there to die in the Dodgers series. I know it wasn't the regular season, but still. The confidence booster. This is a young kid, just got drafted, trying to make a name for himself. He knows the Angels are trying to get in and bring these young guys up. So you put all the stress on him, you let him press, and then freaking Washington leaves him out there to freaking die like he did at Detmers the first couple of times out of the bullpen where we lost all those games and gave up all those runs. I mean, you look at that, we're at 500. We're above 500 with Detmers and all that, but we don't have a plan. It seems like the organization doesn't know where they're going with this or what they want out of the whole thing. They're just honestly sitting there. I honestly feel like, guys, tell me if I'm wrong. Perry closes his eyes, points at the dartboard, and freaking throws a dart, and whoever it lands on, he's picking. That's what it was.
I mean, like I said, Rob, we have to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, right? I mean,
we do.
We do. You're right. Round, he has done pretty well. Now, I absolutely despise this narrative. Well, Perry's good at drafting because he's not. He's good at the first round, and hell, even the second round, he's had a little bit of success. But besides that, once you take that away, there hasn't been a lot of success so far out of Perry Minasian in draft picks. Could Ryan Johnson have that level of success? I could see it happening. You know, we saw him come up a little bit this year. Like you said, his back was against the wall the very first series, and, he got that first opening day loss. But after that, he settled in. He got lit up by the Dodgers. They set him down. And he has seemingly now done really well now that he's gotten an opportunity to get, to get some actual starts down there. So hopefully they continue to develop in the right way. Kaden Boddine was a Perry pick, but once again, we're talking about people who have been successful right now. Perry's been here long enough in the major leagues, absolutely. Perry's been here long enough. Well, he's been here 5 years now?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because Billy Epler's last year was 2020. So we're talking about a guy who should have his fingerprints all over this organization. As of right now, it's still a lot of Billy Epler guys. I mean, even as last year, Griffin Canning, Patrick Sandoval, those are two guys that aren't here anymore, but they were Billy Epler guys who we were still hoping were going to materialize to something. Taylor Ward from the previous regime, Joe Adell, previous regime. What has Perry had besides Neto and Shanuel that have been long-term successful for this organization? He's had a couple of decent signings in the sense of Kenley Jansen's been a great signing so far. Kevin Newman hasn't. Logan O'Hoppe, I like the guy. I can see him being good, but is it fair to say that he's been a giant success at catcher so far? I don't think you can say that and be honest with
No,
yourself. No,
I think O'Hoppe needs some minor league time. I think we got to go full Travis Darnall right now. He's the guy. He's hitting. He's playing better
Yeah.
defense, better command of the pitching staff. I mean, I want O'Hoppe to be good, guys. Don't get me wrong.
and I love O'Hoppe.
But I just looked through the Angels picks. Our next pick is at 47. And now after that, get this, guys, and this is what pisses me off. Because without an organization, without a plan, which the Angels clearly don't have, the Arizona Diamondbacks not only have the 18th pick, but end up with the 29th pick. And the Baltimore Orioles as well have the 19th pick and then get the 30th and the 31st pick for letting two of their top guys go in Corbin Burns and Santander in supplementary picks. And then they're followed by the Milwaukee Brewers, who also have the number 20th pick at the 32th pick overall. Because these guys, they have a plan, right? They know when these guys walk, they're going to get something. But the freaking Dodgers are going to pick twice before we pick once. Again, in the 47th pick. And these guys, they seem to hit every freaking time. We're a team that needs a full rebuild, but we won't do it. We're so close to the playoffs now, I believe that I honestly think we're going to buy. Because after this pick today, if he's willing to move up, like they just said, quick, it's a buying.
Absolutely.
Draft. The San Francisco Giants select Gavin Keelin, a shortstop from the University of Tennessee.
I think he's kind of a Christian Moore type guy from what I've seen.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
a lot of shortstops, though.
Yeah, but also when you're drafting guys, catchers, shortstops, center fielders seem to kind of always be what these guys are, right? Shortstop, you're typically one of the more athletic guys in your team in college and high school. I mean, look at Ethan Holiday. Most of these guys don't end up staying shortstops, right? They can move to second base because they get by on quick releases. They don't have the arm strength at the major league level to stay at that shortstop or even third base positions. Same with center fielders. Not everyone could be a center fielder at the major league level. And I know people are like, yeah, of course, Fernando. But it's very hard to be a center fielder at the major league level. You have to deal with the most change in the field out there, right?
Yeah.
Some of the dimensions of these ballparks are really hard to get used to. Some of them have these weird nook and crannies, like in San Francisco. You have a lot more ground to cover. You are the field general out there. So a lot of these guys will get drafted at those positions, but yeah, most of them, I'd say about 60 to 70% of them will not stay there. Obviously, you know that, but the casual people might not.
Hey, real quick about this. I didn't know this. I thought it was messing with me, so I had to make sure I was looking it up right. I'm on MLB.com. It says if a player was rated in the preseason top 100 by MLB Pipeline, Baseball America, or ESPN, or two of the three, and makes the opening day roster, wins either Rookie of the Year, places top 3 in MVP, or Cy Young voting prior to qualifying for arbitration, that club is awarded a prospect promotion incentive pick, which the Kansas City Royals get the number 28th pick because Bobby Witt Jr. finished number 3 in voting. So there is benefits to drafting well and having these guys finish in the top.
Yeah, so that's new. It was part of the collective bargaining agreement. Oh, no, absolutely. It was part of the CBA. Now think about it, because how are the clubs going to win? So think about it like this. When these guys are drafted and they get called up quickly, that's less control now that the team gets, right? Because your clock is starting earlier. That's why a lot of these teams used to manipulate the timeline manipulation, right? We saw it with Trout. We saw it with Chris Bryant was one of the big ones. There's quite a few of these guys. So they want teams to be incentivized to put the best talent on the field. Because look at the Padres when they finally called up Tatis Jr. Was it 2019? Ended up being his rookie year.
Yeah.
Guys like Manny Machado and Eric Hosmer were the ones who kind of forced the organization to call them up, give them an opportunity, just because of the fact that these players were like, we want this guy here. We want this guy to help us win. We didn't know if the Padres were going to hold on to him, so they have a little bit more time on manipulation. And a lot of the players were fighting the Players Association that, hey, if I win Rookie of the Year, or, if I'm a guy who's in arbitration and I win MVP, I should get rewarded by getting the free agency a year earlier. So that was part of the agreement. So now, guys, I'd have to exactly see what it was, but I do know for a fact that it was part of the agreement that if you are a finalist or a winner for things like MVP, Rookie of the Year, you now enter free agent a year earlier. So my guess is that was probably what the clubs had said. Well, hey, we're not going to do that if we're not incentivized in a way. And like you said, the Royals are incentivized.
It just doesn't make sense to me because not only that, you're just creating a larger gap. If the team hits on a prospect and other teams don't, and you like the Angels, this number 2 pick doesn't work out for us. But the number 3 pick behind us, our rival, it works out for them. He gets it and they get another pick higher. Well, we're still freaking stuck back in time because we're an awful organization, can't figure it out. Well, the Seattle Mariners, our team is 2 games away from playoffs time to time, and yet they go ahead and figure it out and they get rewarded for being even better. Like, to me, that's not parity in the league. Then give me the freaking salary cap. Let me see the Dodger fans start crying over this crap. I know they could probably clip this and put it on. I don't give a fuck, but it pisses me off because baseball is really not creating parity amongst this. It's creating more division, in my opinion, because that makes zero sense to me at all. If we're getting a request to read comments, Fernando, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I am seeing that. Let's see. We'll start off. Mo's the one who wanted us to read comments, so we'll read some of theirs. Jeremy Arnold would have been nice, except for the we won't. We won't read that. Cruz Car, AL West drafting, pitching the Angels should have picked to beat them, while Canning Griffith 2.0 has a 5.0 ERA. I'm thinking he's talking about Kyle Hendricks. Set the Halos back another 5 to 7 years. Saucy James, maybe they could try drafting only pitchers. Hey, you know what? Maybe that's what they're going for. We'll pick up with the next comment after this.
The Tampa Bay Rays select Daniel Pierce, a shortstop from Mill Creek High School in Houston, Georgia.
Being at the MLB draft is always kind of awkward because a lot of the people don't know the people who are getting drafted. Luckily, when I was there in person last year, I did know Christian Moore because he was one of the biggest pieces in Tennessee winning. So that was kind of easy for me when I was there because I was like, oh, hey, I know this guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he led the home runs and set the record there for Tennessee for home runs in the season. Was that him or no?
No,
I thought he did.
So.
No.
Well, he had that stolen base, right?
I thought he had 20-something bombs there.
He might have. You'd probably know more than I would for that. Let's see, Josh. If we get Jace, I'll forgive Perry. Talking about Jace Laviolette, we were talking about, well, hey, maybe at the very end if he falls down, just because he was injured, that could scare a lot of teams away. But he has too much upside. I have no problem believing that a team's going to take him. I was just kind of being facetious, if you will. Big Red Faithful, there is no plan. That's when you were talking about the Angels not having a plan. A lot of our audience agrees, which is why people listen to this show in the first place, right? A lot of like-minded people. Trash Halos, we got to keep our composure. Cue Will Ferrell. You're talking about where he has the wine. He's like, oh! That you're talking about? Can't wait till Locked On Angels tell us this is a great pick. They do have an Instagram post. I saw it. I didn't read it, but hey, I'll give them a free plug. You can check out what they have to say. Obviously, I'm sure they're going to have a podcast tomorrow about it. So, hey, Mo, I think Artie does the drafting after a pint of gin. There you go. Unfortunately, we haven't heard from Artie in a little while. Maybe he'll call in the show soon, and we can ask about the second round pick. And he'll be like, "Oh, it's the baseball draft, Rob. I've never heard of the baseball the draft. I don't know what that is. Hey, you want to see my belly button, Rob?" I think that's something that he would say.
It probably would happen.
Yeah. Dana was a Perry pick. We already talked about that. Let me see. Mo, we should focus on international pick with the focus on lactation. The international draft doesn't exist. I know that was something that they were.
They really want that in the CBA. I think that's going to be part of the lockout. I really do. That's going to be a reason why there's a lockout. One of them.
You know what? I'm not completely against the idea of a Major League Baseball lockout. I think that something needs to change. I would love a salary cap. I know that there is some rumblings that Rob Manfred actually wants a salary cap. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what I read on, on X, it's kind of hard to tell what's credible, what's not. I would love if there was. I would absolutely love if there was a more hardcore cap. I would love that not only if you went over this cap, you would start getting draft picks taken away from you. I don't think they'd ever take away first-round picks, but maybe like a third-round pick. Okay, if you go over the cap the next year, now you lose your second-round pick. Third straight year, now you lose your first-round pick. I think that would go a long way.
For me, if you're over the cap, I need to see some heavy financial burden. And it needs to be the average. It needs to be however you're over the cap by times how many teams are underneath that cap. And then that is what you pay per year.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We are waiting here for the Red Sox pick. Tony C, I'll read his comment real quick as we keep going through some of these comments. Artie needs to become the minority owner is what I'm guessing you meant. The Angels will probably be sold within the year. I don't know about that. I have not heard anything within the organization. We heard before, I don't want to say way before, it was about an hour before the team got put up for sale. But I have zero rumblings right now of that from what I've heard. The Angels will be great again as soon as the Angels are sold. That is the common consensus for sure on people of this network. And a lot of hardcore Angels fans, I know a lot of the casuals kind of don't care. And let's be honest, you really shouldn't know who your owner is, right? Unless you're a hardcore devoted fan. The owner should mean nothing to you. Should be a guy that signs the check, maybe comes out, kisses some babies. You see him a couple games a year publicly. Besides that, he's at the stadium, but he's just kind of there minding his own business. Like Steve Ballmer of the Clippers. Yeah, he's there at all the games, but we don't really hear too much about him getting involved in things like drafts and things like signing free agents. If you're trying to sign a marquee free agent like a Juan Soto, I don't mind if the owner's there at the meeting. You should be there at the meeting. Yeah. But we shouldn't be hearing like, hey, I want Albert Pujols or else. Hey, I want Josh Hamilton, CJ Wilson, etc. or else. That's not your job as an owner. You can certainly move in that direction. Like, hey, I would love if we got a guy like Albert Pujols. And if your GM's like, you know what, that doesn't fit the vision. Okay, you know what? You pay that guy to make baseball decisions. I'll continue that right now.
Draft. The Boston Red Sox select Kyson Witherspoon, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Oklahoma.
That's a guy with some dog in him. That's a guy who could have been number 2 pick.
You notice that these teams are drafting guys from high-profile schools, some SEC schools. Why? Because I think it's possible when you draft guys who are, D1 athletes playing in these SEC schools or teams that had deep runs, the Oklahomas, even teams like TCU. These guys are getting exposure to press. These guys are getting exposure to big games that are nationally televised, and they are from programs that are good at developing guys who are close to Major League ready. Look at when LSU got Paul Skeens drafted. I understand that guy was a can't-miss prospect. I understand he was the census number 1 overall pick. Yeah. But, that was a guy that was drafted, and believe it or not, I'll go as far as to say that Pittsburgh didn't rush him up. He got called up when it was abundantly obvious that it was his time to shine.
He forced their hand.
Exactly. Exactly. They had no choice. This guy was killing every fragment of the minor leagues. He was dominating. There was just nothing else they could do but to call him up. When Neto was called up, it was like, okay, I guess he's ready, ? When Shanuel was ready, people were like, what are you doing? When Christian Moore probably would have gotten called up last year if it wasn't for him getting injured. There was a lot of people projecting that he was going to get called up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a trade would have happened if he was called up too. I don't think we'd have Louis Renifo right now.
Yeah, and honestly, I think just judging by how this year has panned out for Louis Renifo right now, maybe he should have gotten traded if he wasn't hurt. Or if Christian Moore wasn't hurt.
And real quick, if I may, too, on the sale of this team, I do think Artie Moreno might be pushed to it. And I'm only going to say this from a business standpoint, only because Sam Yellies, who own the Anaheim Ducks, have made a power play move and are doing exactly what Artie Moreno wanted to do when he supposedly bought the Angel Stadium by making an LA Live. bringing an atmosphere down there, bringing restaurants, bringing a different vibe, LA Live type thing to Anaheim. Ever since that has been negated and he's been gone through legal trouble and the whole thing with Angel Stadium itself and the lease, Sam Yelly's made a power play move on it. And I do think that hurts Artie's long-term plans and his financial goals, which might make him sell this team because his whole vision has now been taken and shifted right across the street. And I guarantee you the Sam Yellys are really going to cater to the Angel fans as well, too, when there's Angel games. They're going to make it the place to be in Anaheim before pre-games. Right? It's no longer only going to be Brewheim for us, right? Shout out to our sponsor, Brewheim. You guys check them out. It's not only going to be those places there, right? They're really going to have some heavy competition. And I think that's enough to push him overboard because he wants financial gain. He doesn't want to take losses. And I think that's enough for him to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to real quick talk to you about Cruz Carr, obviously a friend of the network's been around for a long time, helped us out with various things. Watch the Angels give Neto and not give Neto an extension. What's your opinion on that? What are the odds that the organization really doesn't give a guy like Neto an extension and lets him walk? I think you have to lock him up.
You lock him up today.
Yeah.
You sign him an extension today. You overpay him $10 million for the next 2-3 years. And you lock him up long term because if not, he is going to walk and he's going to be great. And there's one team that freaking scares me who needs a shortstop really bad and they're just right up to 5 and they don't mind paying. And I guarantee you he's on their radar because he's great defensively. He's great offensively. And I know he's from Miami, and I don't think the Marlins are a really desirable place to go to because they still can't figure it out. You have to. There's no choice now. If you don't lock up, and I'll say, yes, I understand we wanted to do the same thing with Logan O'Hoppe. Catcher's a little different to me than shortstop. For me, you can tell a shortstop when he's great. Catcher, you can have up and down years because it's hard to squat down there and play and hit all the time.
Absolutely.
The Minnesota Twins select Merrick Houston, a shortstop from Wake Forest.
Wake Forest has produced some pretty good first-round picks.
Yeah, they get some great guys. They do.
Yes, anyway, to piggyback off of what you were saying, yes, I agree with you. And the thing that's hard about catchers is most of them aren't catchers forever, right? I mean, you saw with Buster Posey, he was a catcher. They tried moving him to first base. Joe Mauer, same thing. These are guys that are generational type guys. I don't think as of right now, I'm willing to say that Logan O'Hoppe is going to be a generational type catcher. Is he going to be a good catcher for this franchise? Yes, but also this is a franchise that hasn't had a lot of good long-term catchers. When Benjamin Molina, no disrespect to him, is your best catcher, that says a little something.
Yeah, Socha was hard. He's very tough on those guys, and he had a good feel about getting guys in and out. And he did develop a lot of good guys, don't get me wrong. But you're absolutely right. Guys do need to be shifted around. And Logan O'Hoppe, I did think was a guy to be at first base. But I do think also, too, the one guy we're not talking about is Nolan Shanwell. You lock up him and Neto, and let's build that core around those two guys. I would like to sign Joe Adell as well, but I think Joe Adell is here to stay. But as the Angels, his valuation is going to jump after this good year. I mean, if Stanton Dare jumped that much, I think Joe Adell is by far way better than him. That's who I'm comparing off of. So that might be tough for us as a organization because we let his years go by. But Shanwell and Neto are a must for me right now. And I agree. Yeah, Logan O'Hoppe, you can't do it unless we figure out what we're going to do with Shanwell. Slim him down, beef him up. We got to figure out one or the other. I prefer to slim him down and have him play some outfield if we can. But at the same time, if he's comfortable at first base, let him be. We can't keep shifting guys around. We're going to have Taylor Ward 2.0 out there. It doesn't work for me.
While we wait for the pick to come in for the Cubs, I want your opinion on vote bonds for Hall of Fame. A, I agree with you. B, unfortunately, those days are gone. He can no longer, unless he gets in by the Veterans Committee. But he said salary cap would ruin the game. I think that's one of the worst takes I've ever heard in my life. I think, look, if we could only get one, I would much rather implement a salary floor than a cap. Personally, I think a salary floor, if we could only have one, would help the league a little bit more, just to promote parity. Because, I mean, look, you have teams like the A's and the Rays that have gotten by for too long on just mediocre contracts. The good news for them is they are continuously in the hunt to compete. Obviously, Sacramento's kind of struggling this year, but overall, over the last 20 years, they've been more so in contention than they haven't been. But my point with all that is those are at least organizations that have plans, but imagine how much better they would be if they were forced to spend a certain amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be better.
There's a lot of benefits and there's a lot of downside, right? I mean, downside is that player earnings. The MLB Player Association can say, hey, my guy should be earning this much. But for me, as someone who is part of a union and all that stuff, if you're a union, it should be parity, right? You have guys here and guy down here. That is not a players union. I don't care what you say. For the 1% who are all the way up there, and for the rest of the guys in the league, the 25-man or 40-man roster is way below the average compared. There needs to be some type of parity amongst that. But on that, it doesn't ruin it. It forces teams to spend money wisely. It forces a front office not to overspend and actually have some type of strategy besides let's just throw more money at it. Because honestly, that's what the Dodgers are doing. Well, hey, I got arm injuries. I can't develop minor leaguers. They're not the same as everyone else. Dodgers had a top-tier rotation, probably one of the best. What happened? All the arm injuries happened. What did they do? Don't worry, I signed 8 starting pitchers this year. I'm fine. That doesn't help. Labor tensions might rise, but it's a competitive balance. The small market teams have a better shot at contending if spending is evenly distributed. Owners can argue they can help also their finances and reckless spending. And you won't see the high ticket prices that you're seeing in Dodger Stadium or Yankee Stadium, to where the commissioner has to come out and tell the Dodgers, hey, what are you doing? Your tickets are $500 and the Marlins are in town? Like, you know what I mean? There's got to be – I'm just using that example, guys. I don't know 100%, but I do know he did say something to the Dodgers about the pricing being a little bit too high. Parking, food, beer, ticket itself too. At the end of the day, the owners push the cost down to us as the fans. And I do think that we need something. This is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, because you're going to see the Yankees, you're going to see the Mets, you're going to see the Dodgers, teams that have the big markets, who have the big-time medium incomes, dominate in that space. And you can say the Angels can too, but Angel fans, we're good. But at the same time, there's a lot of people in Orange County who are Dodger fans or who are Padre fans, right? You got to find the in-between. A salary cap doesn't ruin the game. It forces you to be smart.
Absolutely.
Team pick of the 2025 MLB draft, the Chicago Cubs select Ethan Conrad, an outfielder from Wake Forest.
Another Wake Forest guy.
Another good pick. I saw a vote for Bond says too. You're assuming the owners are acting in good faith. They would 1,000% manipulate the salary cap, and that's Fernando's right. You're right. They would, but that's why you need a salary cap and salary floor. There's got to be in between. And if there's more in these bargaining agreements that are written than just that. Hey, there's a cap, there's a floor. There's also usually bylaws or usually little things that you have to do in order to have this be fair, so nothing happens. Like, hey, if you're below the salary cap, below the floor, you're going to pay the median. I think. And this is just me, and I've negotiated a couple contracts before. If you're over the salary cap, I think you need to go ahead and you pay how much you're over, multiply it by how many teams are at the cap or under, which is going to be almost every team. And that's the difference you're going to pay. And if you're below the cap as well, you're going to face a similar thing. If you're going to take depending how much you're below, you're going to times it by how many other teams are either at the cap or below the cap in itself to the minimum. All right, you have to spend, let's say it's $100 million. Each team's got to spend $100 million. They don't, guys. It's not hard to spend $100 million in baseball, especially for these small-time owners, right? They can do it. It can go up pretty quick. I know the Rays don't do it, but they can later on afford it. They just got to figure it out and work it within. But you need to have some type of calculation where if you're so far below, so far above, you're going to pay. So if I'm below the salary cap or below the minimum that's required, I'm still going to be paying the required minimum, but in fines, the MLB, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to be at the salary cap minimum. Guaranteed. And if you're over the max, you're going to stay below the max. I think that's the only way to do it, in my opinion. You tell me, Fernando, what do you think?
No, I think that's right. And here's the thing, right? It's also not a bad point that owners are most likely going to manipulate it either way, right? That's how it works, right? And here's the thing. I'm trying to choose my words wisely. Look, anybody who has that kind of control, like owning an organization, you do have to learn how to play the game, right? So there is a certain level of manipulation that comes with it. And that's not necessarily wrong. I mean, you really think, like you said, they put a hardcore cap. You really think the Dodgers are going to all of a sudden stop competing? No, of course not. No. But see, teams like the Dodgers will always do it the right way, right? They're more likely to start cutting off these expensive contracts. Yes, But they have so much working for him in the minor leagues that they're just going to call up the next guy anyway. I'll continue my point right now.
Of the 2025 MLB draft, the Arizona Diamondbacks select Kason Cunningham, a shortstop from Lady Bird Johnson High School in San Antonio, Texas.
There you go. Texas. Yes, as I was saying, owners will always find a way to manipulate the system, of course. But see, if it's done right, at least there's going to be a lot more parity, and you're going to be forcing these teams like the Marlins and whatnot to start spending money, hopefully in the right places. But I also do fear that those low-level teams like the Pirates that don't like spending money, or the Rockies, as of right now, that's not true. The Rockies have had a decent payroll. My fear is that they'll start taking on dead contracts. So the NHL is notorious for it. So I was an Arizona Coyotes fan, as you guys know. And the Coyotes were notorious for taking guys that weren't even playing because they were injured. Let's just say Anthony Rendon. Like, the Athletics don't want to spend more money because they have a plan, but they need to spend another $30 million to get to the floor. They would trade for Anthony Rendon and just keep him just to, sack empty money. And that could also be part of the issue as well. But also,
you can do that in hockey overall, but let's say the floor, and that's what I meant to say. I know I was going on a rant. Let's say the floor is $100 million. If you're the Pittsburgh Pirates, you're at $87 million. The Marlins are at $67. It's either you get to $100 million in payroll, or if you stay at 67, you're still going to pay the difference of that. And what I mean that you're going to pay that $33 million to the league, and that's going to be redistributed around to every single team because you failed. And that's how you circumvent the system, right? I wouldn't take on a dead contract. If I had to spend $100 million, I'm not going to take on a dead contract of $42 million for a guy who's not going to play just so my cap's up there. I'm going to spend that money wisely and keep my young guys longer, or pay them more, or get more competitive guys in there to help out. And that's how you do it. You make the floor there. You're either at the floor of $100 million or you're paying it, no matter what. So teams are going to pay for it, because you're not going to give money to MLB. Here's $33 million because I'm below the floor. Or if you're the Oakland or the White Sox too, here's $41 million because I refuse to be at the floor. No owner's going to do that. That's the way to circumvent this whole thing.
Yeah. Vote Bonds, I've had his comment on here for a little while. I totally agree with that. You got one more year of Rendon after this year.
No, he's right.
I do think that Neto, Shanuel, I don't know about Adele. I think Adele could very well get the first flight out of here the second that he hits the market. He is a Scott Boras guy, especially now that he is starting to come on his own. I could very well see him leaving. Mateo saying, do we re-sign Moncada?
No.
Eric Ward immediately saying no. Yeah, the health being the biggest thing. Personally, if I get a call for Moncada, I'm taking whatever I get. No disrespect to him. I've enjoyed seeing him play this year when he's been healthy. But the big thing is expiring contract, 1 year, $5 million. I do think he's going to make more than that next year because, he hasn't been terrible. He's been worth every penny of $5 million, right? I mean, in baseball, $5 million is nothing. So, that's worth almost no value. And I think he has been a positive producer when he's been healthy. I say you get whatever you can for him. He's probably not going to come back here, at least not at that price tag. So, I say you get whatever you can for him.
You cut the mental mistakes out, especially today. He's not a bad defender. Getting out. Don't try to do too much. He tries to do too much.
Hold that thought.
The draft. The Baltimore Orioles select Ike Irish, a catcher from Auburn University.
Auburn. That's a good pick.
Hey, I like Ike.
So do I. That's a great pick, especially for them. Adley Rushman is a little struggling there at Oregon State. Wasn't turning out to be what they can, but he's flexible. That guy can go to first base, maybe outfield.
Yeah, and I mean, I certainly wouldn't consider, Rushman, he's not going to work out. No, I mean, he has shown flashes of greatness as well. And he can definitely be one of the better hitters in Major League Baseball. He just another one of those guys that just kind of needs to find consistency. But he's a modern baseball player. You know what I mean? Adley's just kind of that guy. So, strikes out a lot, but has a hell of a lot of potential.
I think that's the system itself too, ruining him,
Absolutely.
to be honest with you. Launch angle.
Absolutely. Orioles seem to be very much a newer age organization, so I don't exactly know what their long-term vision is, but it does seem like it's very analytical. So they might not care. There's some teams that don't.
Yeah.
You know, Mo, in all seriousness, it seems as if we never draft with the plan. For starters, thank you for the super chat. We greatly appreciate it. But yeah,
Most right. Right.
Absolutely. Most teams draft the best available player, right? This is baseball. This is not hockey. This is not football. In football, you absolutely draft for need. In basketball, you draft for need typically as well, too. But actually, what I meant to say was hockey is very much like baseball, where you normally do draft the guy with the most athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
In baseball, you kind of have to deal more with outside factors you can't control a lot of times because, other teams, look at the Angels, are drafting under slot and over slot and things like that. They're drafting guys who they're hoping to pull from high school, so they need to, they want to take that gamble. They're going to give that guy extra money, which is why in the first round that was going to be that guy, step into that role long term. Same with Nolan Schanuel. We didn't have a lot of long-term depth at first base. But right now, I'm not seeing that with our first round pick at all.
No, I agree. It's, you know what, too? It's a lot of the time I feel like if you're the top two picks, there's an idea. Hey, if this guy's going number one, they're for sure getting this guy. Or there's usually three players, right? No, this is out of left field, right? Honestly, no one had this, but it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
See,
man. Okay, one thing I will say. So Tyler Bremner made the post earlier. One of the comments is saying, "Hey, the Angels should have drafted Caden Anderson or Ethan Holiday." And then on this kid's comments, let's not do that.
No.
Let's not discourage this kid. It's not his fault.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. He's a product of the system that we have that's out there, and the Angels chose him. And I'm sure he looked thrown off guard too, right? When he got that call.
Absolutely.
And they showed that video. He did not think that they were going to draft him right away. But
yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant, right? And you're yelling at the waiter or waitress because your food's taking too long. It's not their fault. You know what I mean? Like they're not in the back of the kitchen.
They did everything they could.
Yeah, exactly. So let's not rag on this kid. Guys, like it or not, he is an angel, right? Tyler Bremner is an angel. We need him to succeed. We need to cheer for him to succeed. We can all be disappointed. We can all be upset. There's nothing wrong with that. Rob and I are clearly disappointed. So was Todd when he came on. That doesn't change the fact that we need this kid to succeed. If this kid does not succeed, this is terrible for the organization, right? These are the things people get fired over.
I'm sorry, Mo put a comment on there, right?
Okay, yeah, no. I just saw that. You know what? It's a super chat, so naturally it jumps to the front, right?
Yeah, I saw it popped up.
I don't cheer for a lot of bad things to happen to people. I don't, right? I like being a good person. I like to feel like I'm a good person sometimes. You know what? Artie makes that really hard sometimes. He really does.
You know what, though? No, Artie would probably come out and say you can't get it twice.
Yeah, right.
That'd be his coming back to us on that one.
Probably, right? All right, it looks like the Brewers pick is in.
That fun would have.
They're doing it at the highest level
No?
right now. The Brewers they're becoming.
Okay, looks like I jumped the gun. They panned to the corner, so I was like, "Oh, Brewers pick is in."
Real quick, there's a couple other comments. There's one I want to get to, but I'll get to the other ones first. Marty says Dodgers prices are nuts, which they are. Tony C, I did not know this. I don't know if you know that Sam Yelich took over guarding the Grove of Anaheim. Artie is just about done with the Angels. Joe Adell is as good as gone. He's a Boris client. Great point. The Angels' next manager will be who? And that actually was a great point brought up right there. It's who is the manager? How are you going to entice these guys to stay?
With the 20th pick of the 2025 MLB draft, the Milwaukee Brewers select Andrew Fiser, a third baseman from the University of Tennessee.
Tennessee going off the board like crazy.
Absolutely. But, also a very well-respected program. So not exactly crazy to see why. Honestly, if I had to make a decision right now, I need the Angels to I'm Artie Moreno and I need to hire somebody, or I'm Perry and I'm hiring somebody. I'm calling our buddy Benji Gill, the guy who I think should have been hired the first time. Call me crazy. I liked what I saw out of him when he managed Team Mexico. That was also a team of, I want to say, underdogs.
Yeah, absolutely.
They weren't supposed to succeed as much as they did in the World Baseball Classic. Was there talent on that team? Sure, but it certainly wasn't talent to, may I remind you, curb stomp the U.S. in right? In the, was it the semifinals? They almost also beat Japan to get to the finals. I don't know if anybody remembers that. I mean, I don't know how much you guys watched Team Mexico. I mean, that was a team I was cheering for. But yeah, they almost beat Japan.
Yeah.
To get into the final spot.
The bullpen blew it.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, there isn't a lot of Mexican baseball players who are in the bullpens right now that I could think of. Like, oh yeah, that guy should have played in the World Baseball Classic, and maybe they would have been able to hold off Japan. So, yeah.
But you know what, though? Honestly, right now, it's
the Padres.
For me, the Padres. It's three guys right now who I'm looking at manager. I'm looking at Albert Pujols. I'm looking at Torrey Hunter. I'm looking at Torrey Hunter, and I'm looking at Darren Erstad. Darren Erstad, and I don't know if anyone knows, he was a finalist for the Dodgers job with Dave Roberts. He was one of the finalists there. So there's something to be said about that. But I do believe Pujols and Hunter will be the front runners overall, especially with Pujols with Artie. I don't know about Hunter. The relationships are a little tough, but it's those are the three guys I would like to see. Because I don't think Ron's coming back, right? That's pretty safe to say.
Yeah, probably, because of his health issues, and we wish him all the best for that, for sure. I mean, that's scary. And I mean, it also sucks, right? Washington is one of the most storied coaches probably in our lifetimes, right? I mean, the guy has been around the block, to say the least, had a lot of success, probably one of the most recognizable baseball minds out there. It's really unfortunate that it seems like his baseball career is going to end the way it did. Yeah. It would have been nice at least if we could have made the playoffs under his tenure. I still don't know if that's going to happen this year. I still don't think it's going to happen. If I'm a betting man, I'm certainly not taking the Angels to make the playoffs. But stranger things have happened. I definitely don't want Montgomery. I don't want Montgomery long term. No, haven't loved what I've seen out of him. The point is, though, what the Angels need to do, they need to stop jumping back and forth. These regime changes are not helping these kids out. What you need to do, call in Neto, call in Shanuel, and call in Ohapi, right? Because those are supposed to be the three faces of your franchise. Hell, even bring more in there and say, hey, you know what? What do you guys want in a manager? Okay, hey, we're thinking Torrey Hunter. We're thinking Benji Gill. We're thinking Albert Pujols. What do you guys feel about that? Cool. Hey, here's what our guys want. Can you be that guy for us? You know what? No, I don't think I can. Okay, great. You know what I mean? You need to lean on what your organization needs. The Angels don't need a figurehead, but they need a respected guy. I think they need a first-time manager like they got with Sosha many, many years ago. Yep. And they need to write it out because I am tired of the regime changes. Guys, it's not good when you have a new guy coming in and changing the narrative every single time. How are these guys supposed to ever click if they are continuously having to learn, okay, well, my manager wants me to take this kind of approach. Okay, well, the bullpen doesn't really know what their roles are because this guy changes it every other day. We need a lock-in. You need to pick a guy and roll with it.
It's an organization as well, though, too. You can't have all these one-year players who are traded by the deadline anyways. By the time you build camaraderie, these guys are freaking gone. You know what I mean? So It's not only the manager, it's the players, too. So you got to start from the ground up, and I agree with you. You got to roll through the punches like Dave Martinez did at the Nationals. They roll through the punches with them. He wins the World Series. They rolled with him a little bit later on. It's been a minute since they won the World Series, so they got rid of him this year. I can see the little frustration here and there, especially after they made the right moves. I don't think it's 100% his fault. I really don't. I really think drafting wise and shipping Juan Soto away, you did get a good payday back for it. Don't get me wrong, but they could have made other moves with Soto, shipping him away, getting rid of not Zimmerman. What was it? Caldenaro, who went to the Reds, and the Reds just released him. The Yankees picked him up. That third baseman, you could have traded him. You knew you weren't going to get him back. There's a couple guys you could have moved pieces wise. Sold 100%.
All right, 1 second, Rob.
First pick of the 2025 MLB draft, the Houston Astros select Xavier Naens, a shortstop from Mount Vernon High School, Mount Vernon, Washington. The Atlanta Braves have the next pick.
All right, there you go. Almost worked our way through the first round here.
And then Brebner bull strategy Cotton, see if it works out. Yeah, that's a tough one. But yeah, I mean, the organization, we need to change the whole. Right. We gotta invest in everybody long term and then roll with the punches. And you're absolutely right when you say the manager has to stay long term as well too. I want to get to Marty's comment real quick. I hate to skip. Or Saucy says, boy, it's good the Angels got this pick. Yeah. And now what, we can't get inside top 10 by the new rules.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
I believe we're outside the top 10 now.
Correct. You can't
Marty
get a lottery
said,
pick.
yeah, so it's tough. Wash has been around the block to get on the score, but he ain't done too much here, too harsh, boys. And I absolutely think it's too harsh. And the only reason why is not only did he come in with nothing on their major league roster, losing Shohei Ohtani, getting nothing in return for him, but you came in with a broken minor league system in itself. They had nothing. And last year, when you needed pitchers, you had no one to turn to. When you needed fielders to fill the spots after everyone got hurt, there was no one there. The guy who you thought you were going to turn to, and Christian Moore, like Fernando was saying, who was supposed to be up there, gets hurt. You roll with the punches. You end up with these nobodies. I hate to call them nobodies. They're somebody, right? But you end up with guys who aren't really major league talents. You end up with these guys who need to be in the minor leagues working stuff out. The system is gone. System is broken here in Anaheim. It's not working out for us. We need to turn the page. That starts with the ownership. That starts the front office. Washington, in my opinion, how we always talk about, Todd says it's best. Fernando, you guys do too on your podcast, the Halo Hoedown as well as the one with Todd. Look at the shift. Granted, there's still a lot of baseball to play. We could go 18 games down again, but we're seeing like a 500 team. How many times were we 500 last year? I don't think very much. We tanked, we fell, we stayed behind. He's keeping us. Ron was keeping us there. He was moving us along slowly but surely. So I don't blame him 100%. Don't get me wrong. It's the front office. We're asking this guy to make lemonade from shit. It's honestly what we're asking the guy to do. And he was doing it. He worked guys up, worked guys in. Kyron Parrish came up. He was hot. When he wasn't, he sent them back down. He kept moving guys around. He saw stuff that we didn't see. And granted, we get on his ass about certain things, about pitching-wise and all that stuff. But now I see that he's gone. And I see Montgomery making moves. I'm like, God dang, Wash would never do that. Todd says the best too. Reed Detmers goes down for one inning. We're like, God, why is he always pulling? Comes out the next inning, gets shelled. Hey, Wash never did that. Maybe there's a reason. There's a method to the madness. We may not always agree, and it may not always work out. Don't get me wrong. But he was behind an 8-ball. No, sorry, no pun intended. He was behind the ball from this, right? He was in a tough spot. Any manager came in here is going to be in a tough spot.
Yeah.
But it's an organizational need overall. It's not no manager is going to come in here and fix it without the entire organization going forward with a plan and buying in it together. What do we need? Here's what we need. Let's build here. Let's build there. We can't even make a trade right now because the little pieces we have, we could. But the little pieces we have, we won't because it will just further deplete the system. But I'm with Dominic when he said, we already have the worst system in baseball. What's the difference?
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen, right? I mean, you can't fall any lower. And once again, I will play devil's advocate, give the Angels a little bit of credit, just a little bit. The only reason why they have the worst farm system currently ranked is because everyone's up at the major league level, right? I mean, if Neto would still have prospects out if he was never called up, Shanuel, Moore, these guys alone probably make the team, I would say probably like 22 out of 30, right?
Yeah.
But also, we've seen the Angels take a couple steps forward in the rankings. But what good has it done us? Seriously, we've seen the Angels go from 30th when Billy Epler was, or when Jerry DePoto was still here. We had the worst farm system, and then Billy Epler, I think, got us to like the higher 20s, right? We had Kevin Maiton for a little while, right? We robbed the Atlanta Braves after they had their scandal. I forgot exactly what the scandal was in 2016 because it was so long ago. But Kevin Maiton was their top prospect, and we robbed him. What happened to him, right? Sometimes these guys just don't pan out. That's baseball.
Yeah.
That's the reason why all of you guys watch Major League Baseball, whether you know it or not, right? Because of the unpredictability of it, right? This isn't football where you get these guys that are these can't miss. Well, you know what? That doesn't even exist in football. I mean, look at Jamarcus Russell, right? He was going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Johnny Manziel was going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. You know?
Yeah.
And these guys just fizzled into irrelevancy. So what happens in football, too? It happens in all sports, but it's especially bad in baseball. Just because baseball, so much can go wrong. You know, I grew up in San Diego. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember 2004, right? Matt Bush was going to be the greatest infielder of all time. It happens all the time. And unfortunately, when you get these top picks, you have to hit on them. And in Major League Baseball, they seem to fail a lot on these picks.
Yeah, and you know what, though?
With the 22nd pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the Atlanta Braves select Tate South, a shortstop from Basic High School, Henderson, Nevada.
Okay, one quick thing I'll say is I always hate when they bring somebody on to like make it. Could you imagine like you've worked your whole life and you don't even get to hear like the commissioner say your name? Now, if it's like the later rounds, it's kind of like whatever. Like in the NFL draft, they'll do it like the 7th round. They get, you know, like a, you know, somebody like a kid to do it or something. But at that point, you're probably just happy you got drafted.
Real quick, Marty says position player next pick. I don't think so. I do think there's a guy we should really look at. Marcus Phillips, University of Tennessee, starting pitcher, right-hander, flamethrower as well, too. He's up there. He has a nice little changeup as well. He has a slider. He's the same exact type of guy as Bremner, in my opinion.
What's going on, Todd?
It's my twin brother.
Yeah, I don't think he can
hear us.
Yeah.
But Fernando, I hate to, and Todd, just because you know Todd's here now, I can't talk with this guy. No, just kidding. I do have to go, man. Unfortunately, the kids are screaming behind me, and I'm getting a stare. I got to. But yeah, guys, like Fernando said, Bremner, not his fault, not the pick we wanted, but it's a pick we got. It's the guy we're rolling with, and there's plenty of guys I'm sure out there like that on the Angels organization. We picked them. I will say this as a take, and I didn't agree with it at the time, but I love this guy, and I'm glad he's proved me wrong. I did not want Nolan Chanowell when we picked him. I really thought it was a bad pick at the time. I love Nolan Chanowell. He's one of my kids' favorite players as well, too. He's really worked out for it. I will eat crow on that. But I think our next pick is 47, right? I said it was 47th. I really think Marcus Phillips is a guy to watch out for. Starting pitcher, number 2, University of Tennessee. He is a champion as well. Christian Moore, Ben Joyce, very comfortable with him. But Todd, I'm sorry, man. I have to go. And I'll be listening to your guys' takes from here on out. Great show, you guys. See you guys in the next one.
All right, man. Thanks for the time, and thank your wife also for allowing you to step away for a little bit and help me out.
Yeah, cheers to her, dude, and thank you for being on.
All right, fellas. See you guys.
All right, see you, buddy. All right, Todd, you want to finish this first round with me?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay, cool. All right, let's pick up a little bit here. All right, so Mo, Halos in the infield comments also. How are we addressing the third base void? It's a constant. Rendon is probably playing ass left in a glory hole. We need a long-term solution, not name Moncada. I absolutely agree with you. Unfortunately, with all the dead money there, you got $38 million going to nothing right now, right? It's just dead money. It's not going anywhere. The best I can figure is maybe Christian Moore is probably going to try to fit in that role. Maybe next year, but after that, you're going to have nothing. I don't think we have any organizational depth at third base. That's kind of why I was hoping we were going to find that this year in the draft. I mean, you know, the first round had just passed us, so there's still plenty of draft left.
Yeah.
But this organization does need something to plug the gap there, and there's just no answer. I'll look it up right now, but I don't even think there's a lot of free agent options this offseason at third base.
The free agent class is pretty weak. I know a lot of people were talking about like who do we go to, who do we pick up as far as, because there was a couple guys that went just a couple picks ago at 19 for the Baltimore Orioles and Ike Irish. We got a lot of people on TikTok that were talking about him.
I did want
as a catcher. Andrew Fiser from Tennessee, he's a third baseman. He was a guy that we got a lot of talk about as well as filling in one of those position roles. Now, being a team so starved and an organization so starved for, pitching, we thought secondary that, hey, man, we don't really need to get and go balls to the wall with a position player. And I know you guys have probably harped on this since I was on my way home from the game, which again, after they made that draft pick, Fernando, I did not give two shits about them losing that game. I'm like, typical Angels, 47-49, 4 games out of a wild card now. And, a chance to, although Seattle finished hot, you're still right behind them at 3 if you sweep, and you feel good going into the All-Star break at 500. But now in 96 games, they're 47-49 with just now 66 left to play in the season. There is a lot of baseball left to be played, Fernando, but the season starts tonight. And also the draft, it had me pumped. And I'm going to be biased. And I know when I came on here and I heard Rob say, hey, he's our guy, we're rolling with him. And I get that. And I understand there's no give backs, like we got him. Now we got to ride with him. I'm just, like I said, initially disappointed for the fact that this is one of, what if we did pass on a Paul Skeens? What if that Paul Skeens is now Cada and he goes to Seattle and we have to face him for the next 10 years? It's like, I can't deal with that shit. As a fan, it's like, I'm tired of seeing us continually just whiff on surefire things. And I could be wrong, bro. This Brendan kid could turn into something big. He could be the next, good starting right-handed Jared Weaver for us for the next 10 years. But as of right now, dude, I'm sitting there thinking, man, we made the wrong move, bro. And I look at Liam Doyle. I wasn't completely sold on him, but you watch St. Louis will turn him into something. And then
in all fairness, that's a good organization.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing too, Fernando, the reason why I didn't want Seth Hernandez is because look what happened with Joe Adell. I think we can all agree Joe Adell should have been in the minors for 2 years, not be rushed through our organization and have to take all those lumps and learn on the fly. If Joe Adell gets drafted by the Pirates, he barely debuts a year ago. Seth Hernandez will be granted that opportunity. As a high schooler, they can work with him. They don't have to rush him up to the majors. So he will be able to marinate. That's a perfect pick for Pittsburgh. And I think that's what we needed was a proven pitcher that pitched in a tough conference in college and was going to be the guy. And now I think like what your initial take was adding that dude now to a rotation that's already solid. I mean, Seattle, you would have thought they would have went Holiday knowing that they need offense and they have aging vets outside of Rodriguez on the hitting side of things. You would have thought they would have went Holiday, but they go and go Cade. It's like, oh, like I'm floored, bro. I'm still trying to recover from that draft pick, man.
Yeah, I think the scary thing is just thinking about what Seattle could be in a couple of years, right? I mean, they finally broke their playoff streak a couple of years ago, but man, oh man, has it gotten worse just because that starting rotation is so good and so solid and so respected already. Could you imagine now with the upside of Cade? I'll continue that point in a second.
With the 24th pick of the 2025 MLB draft, the Detroit Tigers select Jordan Yost, a shortstop from Sickles High School in Tampa, Florida. The San Diego Padres have the next pick.
All right, there you go, Jordan Yost. Yeah.
Is he related to Ned Yost?
No.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I forgot what my point was, what I was saying. No, you're okay. Yeah, it's frustrating to say the least, man. You know, the rich get richer. We've seen a lot of teams in our division make the right picks. I mean, the Athletics also. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I tied myself in knots earlier. Just every time I think about it, it's just you have the second overall pick. You have the ability to make a flashy, sexy pick. You have the ability to get that it factor. And the Angels just didn't get that today. But, you know, could it be the right pick in a couple of years? Of course, right? That's how the Major League Draft works. You know, I'm just hoping that Tyler Bremner ends up being that guy for us. Like Taylor Blake Ward did say earlier that Tyler Bremner is seemingly going to be a quick mover. He just finished his junior year. You're hoping you're able to convince him to skip college, you know, that final year of college, and come over because it's not a sure bet from what it seems like. But, I don't know. Why would you not sign with the team if you got picked second overall? I mean, it's the next best thing from being first overall. So,
yeah, there's no way. And it's say, for instance, he bets on himself and goes back. There's no way he's going to make that money up, dude. There's no way he's going to get picked second next season. So, yeah, he's going to take the money grab and he's going to sign. But you look at some of these picks that have gone, and it shows what they're projected, what they wound up. Some guys.
One second.
With the 25th pick of the 2025 MLB draft, the San Diego Padres select Cruz Schoolcraft, a left-handed pitcher from Sunset High School in Beaverton, Oregon.
There you go. Rob Manfred couldn't even say San Diego Padres.
Schoolcraft. Okay.
What were we saying?
I don't know. I like I said, I'm still trying to process everything when it comes down to this, because I can't remember the last time the Angels had a generational pick sitting right there and with an opportunity to make a move on them. And then you look at the players where they've, some of these guys where they're projected, and I've got the list in front of me, and then where they're falling as of right now. Some of, there's not too many of them that are a reach. I mean, you could look at maybe Atlanta's pick with Tate South scene. He was projected 39th. He fell 22nd to Atlanta. Jordan Yost was picked 5th, or supposed to be projected 50th. He fell 24th to Detroit. So you have a few like that. But to have one dramatic, like Jamie Arnold fell to Oakland at 11. He was supposed to go 4th. Again, other than, you look at that right now. Again, Willits was supposed to be a 5th round pick, or 5th pick overall. He went number 1. And then you jump to the Angels and a guy who we picked, Tyler Brenner. He's supposed to be an 18th guy picked, at least around there is projected. And he goes 2. And again, we needed a power arm. I think, again, we know we have offensive issues. But when I look at this team, and I know we need a lot in the minor leagues to fill that sucker up, I would rather go outside and get depth, trade pieces this year, whatever. But man, we have like a core 5 or 6 players that I'm fine with a lineup. If we had to re-sign Renifo, maybe we go down that route, because obviously we wouldn't sign back Mancada. We need solid defense. We have more, we even have Paris. He could play infield, outfield. But I wasn't really worried about that. I was worried about getting some more starters in here, not doing that 20 starters drafting that we did a few years ago, but damn, we needed something to where it was going to give the Angels fans, some hope. I get jealous of these teams. I know I'm ranting, but I get jealous of these teams like Milwaukee with that new starter that they bring up. It seems like they're able to lose Corbin Burns, but hey, they draft really well. These kids come out of nowhere. Paul Skeens is like a can't-miss prospect. You get him, he's in there for them. And it's just how some of these teams just have so much talent, dude, out of the rotation. And it just seems like the Angels are always scraping for something, anything. But they always misfire, and they always never do anything in the freaking free agent market. So
taking a step forward this year from last year, right? I mean, at this time last year, we were almost out of it, seemingly, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like we were so far out of contention. This year, you're at least able to say, hey, maybe the Angels can make the playoffs and not seem like, not get left out of the room. Is it going to happen? I still don't think so. But the point is, they are still within striking distance of a wild card spot, right? And that's an improvement from last year. Like I said, last year, we were so far out of it that there was nowhere we could have gone other than up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say that Ron Washington had a lot to do with it, but I didn't hate his managing. Ray Montgomery pisses me off more than Ron Washington ever did. Not that either of them were perfect, but, Ray Montgomery, most of the time, I'm just like, bro, what are you thinking? You are crazy. Let me see here. Tony has a good question here. I think the Angels should bring in Mike Rizzo, former GM of the Washington Nationals, for anybody who doesn't know. Bud Black as bench coach, Barry Enright as your pitching coach. If not, Torrey for the manager, Torrey hitting coach, Benji Gill manager. Without a, I'm guessing he said, I'm going to say doubt.
Yeah.
Before you came on, I had told Rob that I would have liked to see a guy like Benji Gill have gotten hired earlier instead of Ron Washington. I think you and I were both on that train, if memory serves correctly.
Yep.
Was on the Ron Washington train, and that was just because he wanted these young guys to be properly developed, and he does believe that Ron Washington was going to do that. You and I wanted a young manager. Obviously, Benji Gill isn't young in age, but he's young in terms of experience. You know, his first taste of real managing was the World Baseball Classic. Now he's currently managing down in Mexico, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I still think you got to make that call when you're trying to fill in that position. I didn't hate the idea of Albert Pujols being a manager. The guy had such a great baseball brain. I think he could very well be a manager, but I still think it's a little too early for that. I think make a call and get a guy like Pujols to be hitting coach or maybe a bench coach for 2 or 3 years. But all I know is whoever the Angels manager is, you have to write it out with him. I'll continue that point in a second.
Of the 2025 MLB draft, the Philadelphia Phillies select Gage Wood, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Arkansas.
All right, so there you go. University of Arkansas gets someone off the board here, and it's Gage Wood.
Real quick, that's another guy. I mean, again, Gage Wood, I've heard a few things about him, and he's got good stuff. And, again, he pitches in that SEC, so – or ACC or whatever the hell it is. He pitches in a good conference.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our first-round pick, the best competition he faced was Stanford. Respected school, sure, but it's not Tennessee. You know, Oregon State, UCLA, it's just basically Mountain West schools. Cal State Fullerton, which obviously does have a good program, and then both of the Arizona colleges were the best competition that he faced last year. So take that for what it is.
I see right here you got EM saying, I wanted Cade over here on TikTok. Low key, as an Angels fan, getting tired of this crap. Some people, feel the same way. Angels always pinching pennies, never go to the World Series again if they continue this. So, and some people are saying they want to draft it. They would have drafted Holiday. So,
yeah, I mean, I understand the love affair with Holiday, but also, I mean, you know, the Angels were never going to draft Holiday if we were honest, right? I mean, I really want – if we were going to take a shot on somebody, I would have wanted to take a shot on the guy like Seth Hernandez.
Yeah.
You know, just for the upside that he brings. But, you know, once again, it was wishful thinking. The Angels don't draft high school guys, even if they're the best available. And look, I'll say this. We drafted Joe Adell for his athleticism out of high school. He was out of somewhere in like Louisville, Kentucky, I believe. And guys, it took him up until last year to finally be a solid major leaguer. This year, he's truly a solid major leaguer. I think he'd be earning a starting position in any organization the way he's been playing this season.
Well, here's my thing on that. And I'll follow it up is just, first off with Benji Gill, I would love to see Benji Gill here because he would be right up Artie's wazoo as far as like what he likes to do. He's not going to pay a lot for a coach like him. Benji Gill would not demand that being a first timer. And then when it comes to like guys, like you said, like with Joe Adell, you know, again, if this team was just hitting the reset button and deciding, hey, we need to start over, then I wouldn't mind drafting high school kids because, okay, we're going to start over. We're going to, hit the hard reset. It's going to be a couple tough years. We're in line with that. We get it because we have a plan. But you've complained, I've complained that this organization doesn't make their plans clear to the fans that pay for these players and the team itself. So when it comes down to it and they're blowing smoke up our butt like, hey, we want to compete this year. Well, how? By getting guys off the scrap heap? That doesn't work. That's not a plan. And again, if you're going to draft guys for now, you got to draft the guys that are the big name guys to get into your organization to make it stronger as you go. You can't be just taking these high school projects and saying, okay, this is how we're going to make it work. So it's very frustrating, Fernando, to see that fact that, again, it doesn't appear that we have a specific, plan in the long run. Because I don't see it. They haven't said it.
All right. Let me cut you off for a quick second.
2025 MLB draft, the Cleveland Guardians select Jace Laviolette, an outfielder from Texas A&M University.
Damn it.
To the next pick.
damn it. I was really, really hoping that there was just a chance he was going to slip down to the second round. I really like the kid, pure major league hitter. Looks like he's going to be pretty close to ready. His injury was the reason why he didn't get higher. But, I'm really excited for what Jace Laviolette could be. This is an organization that doesn't have a long-term vision in the outfield. You got Trout, who, gosh, if you get 100 games out of him nowadays, it's a blessing.
Yep.
But besides that, there isn't a lot of upside. Yeah, Joe Adele, sure, but even he only has, I think, like 4 years of control left.
Yeah. And
dude, he's a Scott Boras guy. He's out. If he continues to hit 250 with 30 home runs and 70 RBIs, he's going to get $25 million elsewhere, and he's going to leave the first chance he gets. I do want to take a quick second to thank Mo. Really, really generous out of him today. Gosh, I think that's like $60-ish. Thank you so much, Mo. I'll read the comment too for the coverage. Let's hope for the best. Maybe someday we'll get an owner not spritzing over billboards rather than taking the best available player. We are always too clever for our own good. Also, penis. Yeah.
That's worth it right there, just for the penis comment.
Yeah, exactly. Normally maybe I would have not read that part just for the pure monetization of it, but fuck it. Mo with a very, very, very generous donation. So fuck YouTube and their monetization.
What's on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credentialed journalist in the LA area. How about a yummy tasting nut?
There you go. That's why, because it was yummy donation. Thank you.
Be draft. The Kansas City Royals select Josh Hammond, a shortstop from Wesleyan Christian Academy, High Point, North Carolina.
That's a reach.
There you go. Yeah. We're going to finish the coverage here. We got 2 more picks, and then I got to hop off here. Probably went a little longer than I was expecting. But
I didn't think you were still going to be on right now. I was going to start the post game, but fuck it. We'll just go right into the post game as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I can leave and you can do the post game for me. But yeah, for starters, anyone who has been here, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah, we still have a couple more picks to do. I want to hear the Spritz o'clock. We've had a lot of comments about Spritz o'clock. People are waiting for it. Hell, you know what? I'll give it to you guys right now. I'm sure you're going to do it also. So thanks to all of you guys. Before we get those last 2 picks, you guys know what time it is.
Yeah! I love winning, man. I fucking love winning. You know what I'm saying? Like better than losing.
Spritz o'clock, Angels play. Win or lose, we toast today. Sip and cheer, no matter score. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more.
Man, I fucking love.
Did the Angels win? They did not. But you know what?
They did not.
We won because we made friends along the way today, Todd. And anytime you can make friends along the way, losers say that's winning. Maybe even by winning.
Yeah.
Real quick, how was the game today? Yes, the Angels lost. It was 5-1. They are now not 500 going into the break. If they would have won today, they would have been 500. So we're just under. But what was the feel like today?
Well, 96th game of the season. There was a small crowd, so it wasn't big. It wasn't nothing like that. But you just felt like they want, they needed to get this win for. Speaking of Diamondbacks, might as well play that one real quick if they're gonna pop it up.
Okay.
Wow, good job.
This is my home. My first
MLB Network. Good job.
Okay, well, there you go. Sorry, I guess so. It's Patrick Forbes. There you go. MLB Network dropping the ball there.
Yeah, that was pretty pathetic. Anyway, to just answer your question real quick, and by the way, thank you, Mateo, for the super sticker. That's awesome. Appreciate everybody.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, this game kind of sucked today because I was really hoping that this team would at least get to 500. And I know I've said it on plenty of post-game shows where, yeah, hovering around 500 is nice when you can get over 500 and move forward, because if you keep hovering there, teams are going to eventually pass you, and it's not going to be cool to be 500 anymore. So you're going to have to decide, are we going to be better than 500, or we're going to sit here at 500 or below? And right now, as this team is constructed, as they tend to play, forgetting how they played the previous 2 nights and really, pressuring the team. They didn't pressure the Diamondbacks at all today, except for a couple times. They just appear to be happy with being around and under 500, not over. They just appear to be that team that really will finish 81 and 81, or maybe even 80 and 82. It's just a frustrating way to see that this team does have talent to be much better. I think that their ceiling could be 86 wins, but it's just frustrating because I know now they're not going to get there. Unless something really, really drastically changes. Fernando, this kind of game just gave me the vibes of this is who we are and this is who we're going to be.
All right, one quick second there.
He hasn't pitched really a lot. He was a position player.
Okay, I thought the Orioles were ready. Not yet, not quite yet. I do think that finishing even close to 500 is a step in the right direction, right? I mean, this team lost 99 games last year, and this team deserved to lose 99 games last year. Honestly, they deserve to get that magic 100. But the fact of the matter is this. Oh, give me a second, Rob Manfred.
The Baltimore Orioles select Kaden Boddine, a catcher from Coastal Carolina University.
Second straight catcher.
Yep. All right, I'm going to stop sharing this so I can kind of finish we can kind of finish the how we feel about the coverage here. I'll give my last thoughts here on our first round pick, and then I will let you go into the post-game show. Yeah, let me just say this, man. That would be a step in the right direction for us, right? We need these young guys to play games that matter. I think they can. I think they're already starting to. But I don't know. It's very disheartening the way they ended the first half of the season. They're still in contention, and that's what scares me. We are going to be doing a draft or a live trade deadline show as we always do, so we hope to see you guys for that. But, man, we just have to do the trade deadline right, because right now I'm not walking away from the draft just yet. We're only one round in, feeling good and feeling excited. So I'm really, really, really hoping that come the trade deadline, this organization makes the right moves. And we're talking about a farm system that could now be ranked hell in the 20s. Just because, Todd, I want to feel some hope again. I'm so tired of other organizations. You turn on MLB Network like, hey, blah, 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 of the Pirates is making his major league debut. And then they come, like the Red Sox call somebody up, like Acosta a couple weeks ago. And they immediately come and make a big impact. Man, like, when is it going to be our turn to have that prospect come up and make an immediate impact? Yeah, Christian Moore gave us that for a little bit. But also, like, it wasn't like he was brewing long-term in the minors. This is a guy that got called up pretty quick after getting drafted. I mean, he wasn't even in the minors for a year before he got he got called up. So I kind of want one of those guys to just marinate down there and just be ready, come up, set the world on fire, and all of a sudden us be like, you know what, man, that's our guy. Like we had when Trout got called up, right? He was killing it at the minors. He got called up. We were all so excited. Hey, guys, Trout's finally here. And, his true rookie season in 2011 was god-awful. He batted under the mid-doza line. And, a little bit of fright kind of came with that. But then 2012 came around, and he became a perennial MVP and all-star. And obviously he's kind of had injuries since then. But, it's been a while, guys. So I really, really want the rest of this draft to lead to guys like that, because we have the second overall pick. That's already passed. But we're going to get early picks in these rounds to come. So Perry has to really buckle down here and fix his organization, because, man, oh, man, Perry Manassian hasn't had a ton of success in his tenure here. I certainly wouldn't call it a success. He's had a couple lucky picks, dare I say, in the first round with Neto and Shanuel. He's gotten very lucky that those guys have A, been healthy relatively, and B, been successful. But besides that, there hasn't been a lot of good that's been done with Perry in these drafts.
Yeah, and I look at it this way too, like what we were talking about earlier, like Seth Hernandez can go to Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh can take their time with him and teach him and train him. And then when he comes up, he'll be at a better level. He'll have all the nice tools. They're not going to rush him. And with us, it's like even Pittsburgh's been to the postseason before we have. So we're on like the longest drought in baseball. And so for us, it's like we don't really want to hit that reset. If they would have hit the reset 4 or 5 years ago, okay, we're good with that. We can hold out. We can say, okay, it's going to come as eventually. But with the way Perry has drafted, the way that this team has been in the dumps minor league wise, it's hard to get positive, like you said about Mike Trout. That's like the last time, obviously we draft Neto, we draft Shaunawell, and we were excited. But then we're like, hey, man, we got to rush these guys up here. It's like we can't let them sit. And good teams can let their guys sit and marinate and be in a heart of a pennant race and bring up a Shaunawell and a Neto and be like, hey, let's add these guys to, because we're all, how you always listen to AM 830, and when a guy's injured for most of the year.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. And Roger comes on there and goes, hey, this guy is off the injured list. So it's basically like getting a free agent. No, Dick, it's not. But basically, like getting a free agent would be if this team's in contention and you had Neto and Shaunawell down there and Ohapi getting their minor leagues in and other players that we drafted like Rada, if that guy's ready, all of a sudden in a playoff race or a playoff chase and we're right there in the wild card and we could bring up one of those guys, then you could say that's like a free agent because now we're getting someone to add in to help this team. So yeah, I feel you, man. It is very much a kick in the crotch knowing that that this team could have and again, we're playing Monday morning quarterback. We don't know how this is going to work out. I'd love to fast forward or at least get a genie coming out of the bottle or someone to tell us, a fortune teller, hey, man, 5 years, you're going to like Brendan. He's going to be good. He's going to be legit. He's going to be top 5 pitcher. Okay, we'll wait, or 3 years, something like that, whatever. But I think the writing's on the wall. I mean, who Seattle got, it's like the rich got richer, man. I mean, they really didn't need a starting pitcher, and they got one. And that dude's going to be in their rotation sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely. I will respond here to what Vaughn said, and then I'll give my last thoughts here on Mr. Bremner. Mixed success for Perry, also some failures with signings and draft picks. But like Fernando said, he also deserved some praise for the young talent on the field and some wins on trading closers. Yes, I mean, trading Carlos Estevez so far has been a good trade, right? You got 4 prospects. Luis Garcia, same thing. Not a closer, but back end of the bullpen type guy. I was talking to my dad about that today. I was telling him, hey, if the Angels are able to just trade some of these guys at the deadline, your Wards, we're not getting anything for Tyler Anderson at the deadline. I was hoping we were, but I don't think we're going to. Moncada might be able to get you something, just a little something.
Yeah.
With him being one of the top free agents coming out of third base. We didn't answer Mo's question earlier, but I'll read that real quick too for third base options this year free agency. It isn't very good. There just hasn't been a lot of good trades and moves and free agents. How many good free agent signings have the Angels made in the Perry era where you're like, man, what a good move? I'm going to count Luis Garcia because he gave us a good return. I'm going to count Carlos Estevez because he was a decent closer when he was here, and he gave us a good return. Kenley Jansen, if you trade him at the deadline, you're going to get something for him. Same thing. That could be a good move. But once again, are you grading the signing a success or are you grading the trade a success? The thing is, with general managers, you have to be good at everything. And Perry, as of right now, has gotten us close on the cusp, right? Because as of right now, the Angels are still in striking distance, but also we're not close enough where we're talking about buying at the deadline. We're not excited to buy at the deadline. Why? Because we shouldn't. We should trade guys. We should get better for next year. And if we can sneak into the playoffs, great. That needs to be the mentality. Will it be? Probably not, because we all know that Artie Moreno isn't good at sitting on his hands and saying, good, let's Artie is good at sitting on his hands. He likes to stand pat. The Angels are notorious for standing pat. We don't need that. We need the Angels to take a step in the right direction, and we're not going to do that if we keep staying mediocre. We're not going to do that if we keep spinning our wheels. Don't sit on your hands. Make the proper trades so that you have a chance to replenish the farm system. Here's the thing. If we trade 3 or 4 guys, you're probably going to get roughly 10 to 12 prospects. So with that being said, you're probably going to hit on 2 of those guys. That's this working well, right? In Major League Baseball, you want to hit on 10 to 20% of your prospects.
Yeah.
Because in this game, most of the guys you draft and trade for are going to be failures. That's how baseball works. The success is so few and far between. And you know what? There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But you want to give your team a chance. And as of right now, having guys like Soriano, Neto, Shanuel, the guys that you know are giving the Angels a chance, but you still have to continue to build for the future. We're not building for this year. We're not. If the Angels make the playoffs this year and then don't contend again for the next 3 or 4 years, was that a success? No. I'm okay with the Angels missing the playoffs this year as long as the teams are playing meaningful games at the end of the year. Do you have anything else before I read the top third base prospects, give my final thoughts, and leave you to it?
Just that we're picking 47th, right?
Yes, I believe that's when we got the next pick, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Because of the compensation rounds and things like that. So to answer Mo's question from earlier for third base, because I know this is something some other people are wondering, there is almost no third baseman options available. Chris Taylor is one of your top third base options. That tells you everything you need to know right there. Paul Young from the Nationals, Luis Urias. He is formerly of the Orioles, I believe, and now he's with the Athletics. Giovanni Urshela, you guys remember him?
Oh, he'll be a free agent again.
Yes, yeah, and he's one of the top options. Jose Iglesias, obviously, he's known as a shortstop, but he has the ability there to play third base. Miguel Andujar, the best person I would say available, at least as of right now, that's set to be a number 6 free agent, is Eugenio Suarez of the D-backs. He's a little old. He's getting long in the tooth for sure. But he could be an exciting option for a 1 or 2 year deal while we wait for maybe a guy that might get drafted or one of our prospects to come up. Yoan Moncada is on that list. That's why I'm saying we should probably trade him. A guy who I don't know who he is, so he must be coming out of Japan. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But Munutaka Murakami. He is a 25-year-old restricted free agent, so my guess is probably a guy coming from overseas. Like I said, please correct me if I'm wrong and if you guys know. And then Alex Bregman has an opt-out. I could very well see him opting out just so that he could be the best third baseman available, and he's having a pretty solid year. And then Justin Turner has a mutual club option with Chicago, but he's also 40 years old, so let's not do that. So there you have it. Yeah, so third base, you really can't even look in that direction if you're looking at pure third baseman. So last thing I got here, let me get a swig of water, and then I'll give you guys my last personal takes on who we drafted.
You want me to what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part.
No, I'm just taking a quick sip of water. So I'll leave you guys with this. So here's what I was able to dig up on our first round pick, Tyler Bremner. So the guy's got pretty good stuff. According to the scouts, he's 95 to 98 on the gun, and he has a very good changeup. Apparently, his changeup is one of the best of the guys that were available. His changeup ranks 65 to 70 on the grade scale. And for anyone who isn't familiar, 80 is elite, 80 is cream of the crop, 50 is, bottom of the barrel. So, or average, sorry. So 65 to 70. So very, very good. Good grading because 20 is the lowest. 20's like, Todd and I going up to throw a fastball, right? I mean, I was pretty good in terms of shortstop. I can throw like 70 to 80 miles an hour across a diamond, but there's a reason why I never made it in the major leagues, right? You need to be able to throw like 100 miles an hour across a diamond. So he has very good strikeout stuff. In 2025, he punched out 111 batters over his 77 and a half innings with 3.49 ERA. And that was off of his dominant 2024. Rob and I already alluded to that. Rob had mentioned that he had an outside chance of being the top overall pick when last season ended. In 2024, he had a 2.54 ERA and 104 strikeouts over 88 and 2/3 innings. His command and control is one of the best of the guys that were drafted in the first round. His walk rate was 6.1%, which is good, and his strikeout to ball ratio is 35.8, which is one of the best in a college baseball. So there you go. But once again, his concerns are limited picks mix. Beyond his fastball and changeup, his slider was average, 50 grade. So very, very average. He doesn't really have a third pitch, which is what's worrying people for his longevity at the major league level. But once again, when we drafted Ben Joyce, he didn't have a secondary pitch, was able to find one. So, there is hope in that innings workload. He never exceeded 90 innings in any collegiate season. That is obviously a big red flag. But for guys like Liam Doyle, he was kind of maxed out according to guys like Taylor Blake Ward. So, if we would have drafted Doyle, a lot of people were saying, you know what, he's not really major league ready. You might be able to put him in the bullpen, get a couple innings out of him to end the season. But he wasn't projected to be a starting rotation guy. So because of that, maybe that was part of the appeal here with Perry. His workload never exceeded a certain amount. So because of that, he might be able to get plugged in and have a chance at making an impact at the major league level. We do know that Perry and company love guys who can pitch immediately. Jamie Arnold was another guy who was major league ready. I see a lot of people dropping it right now. But, this guy was not projected to go number 2. That is what all the experts are saying. What I'm seeing here is the pick wasn't expected. Some analytics viewed it as a financially motivated pick, and it raised a lot of questions about the upside of his career. So that's kind of what I was able to dig up here. So there you have it. Todd, I will leave you to it. My throat is killing me.
Oh, yeah.
After talking for like 2.5 straight hours. I don't know how you do it at the time. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the time. Thank you guys for putting up with my bullshit and listening to Rob and I kind of stutter on our words at first because, man, oh, man, it was just so took the air out of the room for sure. I mean, even you guys in Anaheim, when they were showing the pick, you guys were like, oh, what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, the stadium, they ran it on the scoreboard at the stadium, and there was a collective.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, since you were talking right there, I was looking at the draft real quick before you go, bro. And I know that the Tigers, I don't know what the Tigers fans are thinking right now. They drafted that guy, Yost. He was projected 50th, and they got him at 24th, right? Did you see their last pick? Detroit went out and got high schooler, another catcher. He was projected to go 219, and they got him at 34. So that's a bit of a stretch. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but also here's the thing, right? I mean, Detroit is also an organization that is currently one of the best teams in the American League. So you have to give them the benefit of the doubt right now, too. Rob and I tried. We're trying to give Perry the benefit of the doubt because at the end of the day, his first round picks have hit more often than they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take a step back. I said earlier, and I'll leave you guys with this, there is already some people kind of booing the kid on his social media. There, if you look on Tyler Bremner's recent post, there's like some comments of people saying, hey, they shouldn't have got you. Let's not do that to the kid, okay? Let's cheer for the kid. He's an angel, for better or worse. Give the kid a chance. We'll see what happens. But, Todd, I'll let you take it away, man. Thank you for letting us do the stream, and we'll talk soon, bro.
All right, you got it, man. Have a good one. Thank you for the coverage.
Of course.
There you go. There goes the great Lone Star Fernando taking his spot, getting out of here for today. As we get in now, we transition into the post-game show. So, Yeah, they were holding it down right now, him and Rob and others. We're going to jump into the post-game show as the Angels take the loss today. So I've set up the screen here. Getting to some comments over there on TikTok. There's Sports Prozac saying, I work for the Angels organization. They're cheap at best. LA Post says Perry always nails his under shorts on hopefully this one too, but should have taken Anderson. Cade Anderson, I'm telling you right now, was the guy, and I'm thinking that this was a miss for right now. I mean, again, Monday morning quarterback saying it is what it is. It's tough. It's tough to look at this one and say, okay, I'm happy, because this guy hasn't. We don't know what this guy is going to bring us. Whereas the other guy, and one thing I'll pull up real quick is that when I was watching the comments go by, the chair, James, by the way, he posted this saying that Brenner turned in his medical info at the draft. Others did not. I think that's why the Angels made a safe pick and not a sexy pick. So could he be a safe pick? Could he be the guy that, okay, maybe a lot of people weren't thinking too much of, but he's going to be that guy in the long run? Like are we going to be wrong and say, okay, we did Perry made the right move? That's the whole gamble with this thing. I think in the long run, say what you want to say, but I still think Seattle, no matter what, is going to come out ahead on this one because they've got the obvious pick, the obvious guy. He's already had the surgery, so you don't have to worry about that. He's legit. And I guarantee you he's probably going to be up here before we get our guy up here. And, Corey is over there on TikTok saying, imagine if we would have got Holiday in the infield. So, Demetrios jinxing it big time. He says Angels are starting to feel like the 1990 to 2002 Clippers. Oh, also just got back from Baja. Don't know how I missed it, but Q Lombardi. Yeah, you missed a lot today, Mr. Mario. There you go. Let's see. Also, get down here. Mo checking in with this isn't Monday morning and you don't look like a quarterback. It's a lackluster pick. We've chosen many players of a similar caliber. And I think that's the thing that scares me too, because again, like you look at, Saucy says that's a terrible pick. We shouldn't be shading him like Fernando said on social media. That's for sure. But if you think about it, I mean, we were very enthused when Perry went out and got a lot of pitchers, or at least some of us were. I wasn't in particular because you have to also fill other holes in the organization. But the Angels decided, okay, let's get 20 pitchers. And how did that work out? I think only like 3 survived from that entire thing. 3 or 4 didn't even sign with us. A couple of them retired. So it's frustrating. And then you look at what happened today on the field. You have an excellent chance to sweep the Arizona Diamondbacks, who have been floundering, and you have Soriano on the mound. And again, Soriano just has one bad inning, as he usually does at home. And there's just no, you have a couple opportunities for the Angels. They have 3 errors, which lead to some of the runs by the Diamondbacks. You only go 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. You have a couple opportunities to cash in some runs. The ball didn't fly out of the field like it usually does. Long fly ball with 2 men on for Joe Adele, not hitting a home run. There's a couple other at bats. Other than that, I mean, you got nothing today. And it was depressing. Kelly didn't pitch his best for the Diamondbacks, yet he still gets the dub. And you couldn't get anything going like you had the other nights. And it's frustrating because how many times this season has this team gone up 2 games to none and just can't finish a team off? And you feel like, damn, we should have took the series. We should have swept because that would have helped us in the long run. And again, I'll chalk this up to game 13 that we should have won. That if you just take 8 of those or 7 of those 13 right now and flip it a little bit, this team is right there in the wild card. But instead, they're 4 games out after Detroit can't help us out. And it's getting further and further away. And the longer you stay just content at being 500, just content at being average, that's just going to push things further and further back. You're going to fall farther and farther back. You're going to be grouped into a bunch of mediocre teams. And then if you're mediocre yourself, forget it. There's no chance of coming back. So Again, you got to hit the reset button when you get out of the All-Star break. But what happens with this team, usually after the All-Star break, they start slow. Ever since I've been watching this team, even in the glory years, they struggle coming out of the All-Star break. So that's not giving me too much enthusiasm for the second half of the season. And the fact that we're going to go into Philadelphia, we're going to go into New York, play two tough teams right off the bat to start the second half of the season. And, you want some good news. You want a good draft. You want things to work out to where you have positives going into the next series. And I think the Angels do their very best to make you feel like this team isn't making any kind of positive strides, that this team isn't going anywhere, that they're just spinning their wheels. And I think that's frustrating for all Angel fans, including myself, because we're the ones that go to the games. We're not that shitty podcast where the guys all live up north and don't come out here. We're guys that are there with you in the stands. That's why we always say, we're by the fans, for the fans, by the fans. We read the comments. We talk to you. You can come and approach us. We're there in the stands. We're watching every game, every pitch. We're super fans. And, it's frustrating because, again, if you have things fall your way, at least on the draft, you could say, okay, this team's got a 2 to 3 year window where they're going to be getting better. And I think for the first time in years, that's why we're excited this year that we can compete in games. We may not win all the games, but we can accept some of the losses because it's not stupid, because we don't have all these players off the scrap heap, aging veterans. We have a couple sprinkled in there, but for the most part, if you look on this team on paper, and then even when you go to the games, even though they played lackluster today and they lost 5-1, they were still competitive for most of the game. And you have a core there that you can depend on for years now. And at least offensively, you have a core 5 plus. If, like I said before, if Kyron Paris joins the party, that's 6 good players right there hitting wise. It's just the problem is the pitching. So if you could have given us fans something to be excited for, whether this kid works out or not, I know it's not the sexy pick, but if we were to have gotten a sexy pick, that would help an organization and a fan base like ourselves that is very, very frustrated and very upset, and just like we're tired of rolling our eyes and being like, well, that's an Angel thing to do that right there. Again, if we were just out of the playoffs for 2 or 3 years, I can accept hey, this guy's a project. This guy's a project. This guy may not be the guy you see that fits this organization right now, but he will be later. I can take all that rhetoric. I can take that narrative. But the fact that this team hasn't been there and the team continues to struggle and has just shown over and over that this organization can't do the right things, that's why we're skeptical. That's why unfortunately there's fans going over to his freaking social media and Brennan and killing the guy when they haven't even seen him pitch a ball yet. But again, that's because we as a fan base of the Angels have been so jaded and frustrated because of all the mediocrity and the losing. So if we did have our, no offense to Brennan, but again, if we were to have drafted can't miss guys, if we got Cade Anderson, the narrative of this show and the one that Fernando and Rob were doing earlier would be completely different. It would be completely different because there'd be a different sense of excitement to it. It wouldn't just be like, oh man, typical Angels doing the wrong thing. It might not be the wrong thing. But what if it is? See, we don't know. And then the waiting game continues, so we're never going to find out until this dude hits the majors, and that could take a year or two. So that's the frustration as far as Angel fans. It's not necessarily the loss. It's just how they go about doing things. Mo says, not saying you don't have a nice body, Todd, but then again, I thought RuPaul was a woman. Thanks, Mo. I appreciate that. Also, James says Scott Boras probably advised Holiday and his family to follow his father's footsteps and go to Colorado, which that would have been a good move here, even coming over here. Soriano again, as was wild on the mound at home. Yeah, he was not finding the strike zone. Also, Big Red says this organization is fat. Now, when he means fat, does he mean
fat son of a bitch is going to drown us all out?
Just going to calm down, okay? All right.
He's fat.
James says a sweep going into the break would have made me feel different about this team, but never mind. Again, you want to go in there with momentum. We had our opportunity and we blew it. Sean Noel isn't getting traded. Met him on Saturday. Very cool dude. Thank you right there. Also, Artie is drunk at blackjack table. He's going to bet what he has because he can't help it. Rod Fox says Todd Cade is going to sign $8.8 million contract. Figures. Also, Perry has a chance to redeem himself with these next 3 picks, but I'm not confident. He actually has got 4 picks in the next, before the 109 pick. So maybe. Waiting is the hardest part right there. Alex said they should draft Delvin Young's nephew. He plays third base. The Young family is really good at baseball. I'll give him that. eBay says, what happened? I missed it. Are we happy or angry? We're angry. We are very angry. The game did not go. The draft has not gone the way we thought it did or was going to. It's very frustrating today. If we don't make the playoffs, Corey says, I think Perry is gone. Again, that all depends on what happens, moving forward with the team. If Artie believed that this team was going to be in the postseason. But there's just it's hard to say, man. It really is. This team is just it's very frustrating. I just don't understand how we do things sometimes because there's a right way and a bad way to do it. And if there's ever a bad way to do it, the Angels just jump on that bandwagon right away. Don't even care. It's like, hey, we got to do this. Well, let's do it wrong. So let's see. What do we got here? I'm looking at the draft right now as we have currently we're at draft pick number 39. I'll stay on till 47. When see who the Angels get, and we'll talk about that. Let's see. Hold on. Apathetic balls myopic. Rod Fox says went off the live, but the kid give the kid a chance. He could. He could be great, and we'll see again. But it's tough, man. Next pick is at 47. What do you think we do at the deadline, dude? Eric, I've been asked that question over and over, and I have no idea because again, I want to think that they'll just stand pat, like James said, and not James. Well, yeah, James said he hopes they stand pat. They're not going to get much from these deals. I know Fernando said the same thing, but we just might be buyers, dude. We just might be buyers, and that could be a problem because again, we get ourselves into trouble trying to give away players we shouldn't give away. We should be holding on to these dudes, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm hoping the Angels make these right moves coming up here, but I don't know. By the way, Todd Mason missed you yesterday at Science. Sorry, man. I couldn't make it. I had a prior engagement. I had to get up and take care of. So I'll be at the next one right there. Rod says, let's go to Bruheim. Dude, if you want to do the awards, fine. Fuck it, because we got a couple more picks to go. Golden Stamos for today since the Angels didn't win. I think the Golden Stamos goes to Engino Suarez. That's how you say it. He has a goofy ass smile and hair that you wouldn't think about on a guy like that. But 250 average, 31 homers, 78 RBIs. He had 2 home runs today. So yeah, he's definitely the player of the game. Or was it 2 home runs the other night? Am I mistaking that? Because I could have swore, was it 2 home runs today? Yeah, it was 2 home runs yesterday. My bad. But he did reach on 2 errors. I'm still going to give him the player of the game because he made a difference here tonight. He was on the bases a lot. There wasn't really too many guys that did the job today. That's how I've been thrown off for the draft because I was there in the stands and I'm already forgetting what happened. I'm thinking of last night. But you had nice defense out there. You could have said that Thomas was good even though he went 0 for 3. Defensively, he was everywhere. And then on the bases this entire series. So Angels should have swept, but good God. I'm still going to give it to Suarez because I should have gave it to him last night. And then let's go through the Nacho night, and I've got one guy I want to give it to.
For the worst performance of the night, Congratulations. You played yourself. Moldy cheese, stale chips, what a sight. All your dreams gone tonight. Had a bad night, lost the fight. No more crunch, just take a bite. It's the Nacho Night Award.
The Nacho Night Award goes to the one, the only Taylor Ward. That guy sucks. I can't say it enough. I don't know which direction this organization's going, but please can it be without Taylor Ward? Whether we're rebuilding, retooling, can we get rid of him, please? Again, another play that summed up as much hate as I have for this guy is ground ball, and not ground ball in the corner next to the foul ball, or foul pole, and on the carom of the wall, to where he has to grab it and you kind of like just lob it into the shortstop or the cutoff man or third base to hold the base runner from going to third, right? No, this is a ground ball that gets through short and third on a line. So not moving him off his trajectory. And he just comes to it slow as fuck, gets the ball, and then throws noodle arm strength into second base. And the base runner just slides into second. So he turns a single into a double and puts runners at second and third. And of course, the next hitter would come up and hit a one down the line for a 2-run single. He's pathetic. I'm so sick of his defense and his lack of care. His lazy ass swings. Again, he had opportunities today. He went 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position, and he went 0 for 4. Golden sombrero. Golden sombrero. 4 strikeouts. So 4 plate appearances, 4 strikeouts. But Todd, did you know Taylor Ward has 21 homers and 65 RBIs? Yes, I do. But I also know he has a shit average, 224. And I also know that he's a defensive liability. And I also know that he has struck out now over 100 times and is due to strike out close to 200 again for a guy that, if you ask any major league fan, any hardcore baseball fan that knows most rosters because they play habitually, they play a lot of fantasy baseball. If you ask any one of them, here is your power hitter category of power hitter players throughout the league. Do you take Taylor Ward's name and insert it under power hitter? Fuck no. But who does he try to emulate? Mike Trout and other power hitters. And this is the result you get. Now, if Taylor Ward was your designated hitter or a first baseman, and he would actually try to have more contact, because there's a rare times that he actually looks good when he's just putting the bat head on the ball and not swinging for the fences and not having that launch angle bullshit StatCast. He's a decent player. He could actually be a 250, 260 hitter, but I don't want him anywhere on the green. I don't want him anywhere in the outfield. But unfortunately, since we have no depth in this organization and we have nobody to replace his ass, he's in the outfield fucking it up. I would love for Mike Scioscia to be a part of this team still. His ass would be running training drills, and I guarantee you there'd be some kind of argument between Mike Scioscia and Perry, because he would be like, get this fucker off my team. If he is a defensive line, because you knew Mike Scioscia, he valued defense over hitting. I mean, look what happened. He chose Jeff Mathis over Mike Napoli. And we all know who's the better hitter. But Mike Napoli wasn't very good as a catcher. So, again, I'd rather have a tightened up defense, and I don't want him swinging for the fences. I could deal with less home runs, because I know if Taylor Ward would fix his swing, This dude could be a guy to knock in. He could hit 25 for the year, but he could drive in 100. But he won't do that. He'll probably hit about he might get you 30 this year. He's a little ahead of schedule last year. So like 30, 31, and then he'll have like 90 RBIs, but he's still hitting shit. He could be like 120 RBIs. He could be a good hitter. I still don't trust his defense. So I know I'm ranting about him, but I can't stand him. Because more often than not, it's the same damn thing with Ward over and over and over. Ward stinks. Corey says the same thing about, you got a flashy player here, there from Makata, but he's basically the same player at third base. As we're getting closer to that 47th pick, I'll check in on it right now. We are, we're at the 42nd pick. The Dodgers got Arkansas player there, outfielder. That's Charles DeValian. Tampa Bay just got Brendan Summerhill. So we're 5 picks away from seeing what the Angels do next. Let's see. Also, see, Taylor Ward showed us perfectly today why he needs to be traded or DFA. He's not going to be DFA. 4 Ks, no hustle, and a base hit, allowing runners to advance. Cut him already. Cut him. I'm done with this. I think all of us are like that tonight. Nacho Night Award definitely goes to him tonight. Tamir 20 says, today was BS. Angels lost, and my soccer team, Paris Saint-Germain, got shut out 3-0 by Chelsea. Also, we could have taken either Holiday or Anderson at 2 and possibly Brenner at 47. It kills me how this team has turned into a shit show of a draft. And that's the problem. Who knows? Maybe he would have been what is it called? He would have been 47 still. He still would have been there. Who knows? Mo says you were a thong for this team, and they took a steamy dump on you and all of us. We all know what they should do, sell assets. We also know what they will do, make dumb signings. Yes, and that's unfortunate because, again, that's what this team likes to do. Man, it sucks. There's a lot of DFA Ward going on here. Eric Ward says, my wife would agree right here. Jack Chandler says, Ward has won as many games as he's lost. No one wants him. And that's the sucky thing because he's playing himself back onto the roster. Nobody's going to give up anything to get him. And that's unfortunately the writing on the wall that I'm seeing more and more out of this. Right now, the Marlins are on the clock. Let's see. He's not a power hitter. He's a power shitter. Gerard also says, if the Angels shit the bed in the draft, do they deserve our fandom? I'll never be able to quit this team, but they're making it hard. That is tough. I know one thing. In the offseason, I think they pressure you to get season tickets before actual free agent signings happen in December and January, like at least the big ones. And it's hard, man. Like I really felt good about this team, but I got to see where this team goes into next year to where if I commit or not, because like I've enjoyed it for the most part, going to games and stuff like that, all the games, but it's frustrating, man, because you're right. I mean, until proven wrong, we got spoiled with them making the right moves for 10 or more years, and then now it's like, God damn it. What's up with Ohapi slumping? Eric Ward says sophomore slump. Could be. We're closer to a wild card spot than I thought we'd be. Yes, and again, but you could see that we could be a lot better. Imagine being drafted by the Rockies. Saucy says it's like you're just not allowed to feel good about this team. They always fuck up the scenario. You know what that reminds me of? Have you ever had a girlfriend where you like basically, she's kind of toxic? Like you bring her around your friends, you could never tell if she's going to say the right thing or do the right thing. Or even like, say, for instance, if you're a girl and you have a guy like that too, like you don't know if he's going to blow up, if he's going to say or do something stupid to embarrass you. That's how I think the Angels are. Like you get excited because like, oh, okay, maybe they're going to get along with my friends, like maybe they're going to do something right. And you get a little excited and you're like, cool. And then when they get to the party with all the other teams or with all your friends, then they say or do something stupid and you feel embarrassed. You're like, God damn it, why did I agree to go? I should have just came with my friends. I should have just came. That's how it feels with the Angels, man. You feel like, okay, they're not going to embarrass me this time. And then they do. And then you're like, this is why we need to break up. Even though like everyone has told you need to break up with them. And you're like, no, I can fix him or her. Trust me. Everything will be all right. Trust me. We're good. We're good now. And then you're reminded by things that happen. So Jack says this team has no hope in this division. We'll be dead and gone if they ever turn this shit around. That's where all the doomsday stuff comes from. And there's nothing wrong with that, Jack. There really isn't. For any one of us to have that kind of take. Because you listen, some people can say, hey, 9 to 10 years isn't a long time. The hell it is. That's an entire junior high and high school career and then some. I mean, that's a long time. So if you were to have a kid in 2014, he'd be 10 years old, have no idea what Angels baseball and playoffs mean. That's a long time. A whole damn decade where you're just floundering and not doing anything. Again, I don't want to become the Seattle Mariners. Seattle Mariners went, 21, 22 years without a postseason approach? Mario says, when was the last time anyone was happy about the draft after Artie took control? I don't think there has been. Eric says, I think all in all, the team is much better than I thought we would be this year. The young core has got me excited. I am the same way. But there is what can we be better? How can we be better? There is all that. And the fact that we're still questioning things sucks. Toxic girlfriends, every dude should have one. I don't know about every dude should have one, but it is a good lesson on what not or who not to date. Yes, Eric hit that nail on the head. Also, Saucy says this team needs like 4 DH spots. Trade or repurpose everybody except Trout. Mario says, I'm a Bears fan. Randy can relate being a Jets fan. Angels don't know how to draft and purchase free agents. Life in perpetual decline. Q Lombardi. And that is true, man. I mean, that's a tough sell there, too. Jack Chandler says, do you go to brunch, Todd? You sound like me. No, I don't go to brunch. But yeah, I've had my experiences. Mo says, I know what you're saying, Todd. It's like when a chick has a bulge in her pants. What's up with that? Thank you, Mo, by the way. You've been contributing a lot to the shows today, so really appreciate that. Been an Angels fan since 2019 is emotional abuse. We all need therapy. Yes, trade Ward, even if you can get a pick enough. That's enough for me. Second round hasn't started yet. Demetro says, young core is exciting, but it feels like the young core is just the booty and tits. We need a face and personality too. Still missing components to compete. If I have a chance to interview more or any of the other players, I'm gonna be like, listen, you guys are booty and tits right now, but we need to get a cute looking face up in here, and that's going to be the pitching staff or somebody else like that. And then they're going to be like,
oh no, what happened? Oh no, how terrible. That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
Jack says Trout seems like he's been carrying us, but it's still only batting .230. Do you think he'll make 500 home runs? I actually do. I actually think he's got about 4 to 6 more 25 home run years left in him, and I think that's about it. I think he'll get a little over 500, and then the questions will come out like, man, what could have been? What fucking could have been? And that's where it's gonna suck. That's where you're gonna look at it and be like, man, this team could have been so much better, with him being healthy. Eric Ward also says, I'd even invite Ward into my home and adopt him like an idiot cousin if we just could get rid of him. Judge just hit 350. Yeah, and I think they were drafted around the same season. So Yeah, it just goes to show you. I mean, Trout was on a better trajectory. I mean, he was hitting 40 to 45 home runs. It should have been the norm for him. I think we did the math on it, and right now he should realistically be around 560, around there, 550, if anything, 545, between 545 and 560, if he had stayed healthy. But yeah, damn, dude. I am a local taqueria. I always say that wrong, and ordered 2 burritos, and it was $35. That's actually not bad considering how things have been right there. I'm a little late, but what's your take on the second overall pick? Reddy says on TikTok. I'm hoping that it pans out, but it's definitely not what we thought. And again, Caden Anderson going to freaking Seattle really hurts. I think that's just it really hurts because I think that could have been a pitcher that would be up here very, very soon, and he will be up in Seattle. Yes, yeah, because Trout's gonna miss about 3 seasons worth of injuries, like 450 games. Also, Strange says we have a young core of players, but if you don't have an anchor to keep them all in place, the teams up the 5 and down the 5 can jab and snatch. They could. They really could. Todd, how were those delicious hot dogs today? I didn't have any. I abstained. I actually ate before we went. I didn't give Artie any money today. Fuck that guy. Jack says, I forgot about Reggie Willits. Can't believe his kid got drafted number 1. Yeah, Dino Ebel's son was there too. Grillmaster says, if we look at the series this season, I have a feeling that we have won more than half of our series this year, despite our record. What do you think? I think that's pretty close. And that's a good take, Grillmaster. This team is a lot better than last year, obviously. And we've done a lot of 2 out of 3s and stuff like that. But we've also lost some series we shouldn't have, which is really weird. Saucy says, I know it's premature, but days like today make me think they should sell everything they can. Yep. Tony C also says, Hoppy needs to go to the minors. I think they could really help him there. The Angels need to get a catcher. The Angels are going to sell and buy. Smash the like button and share. Awesome show, Todd. Keep it up. And there's a lot of players that, again, whether it's free agent or not, could have made this team a lot better. And over the last few years, Angels just have not gone in like they're supposed to. Mo says, Todd, I was in Seattle recently, and their homeless encampment is worse than ours. It doesn't help our record, but fuck Seattle. Yeah. I was up there not too long ago, too. The freeways are jam-packed with homeless in any kind of crevice between those off-ramps and stuff. It's very dangerous. A lot of those people can get killed, especially with how people drive, and they can slide off the freeway and kill some people. It's pretty dumb. It is really dumb. But, again, I don't know where all this – I'm not getting political or nothing, but I just always wonder when they say, oh, man, like $2 billion was granted to the city of Los Angeles, to build housing and to help with mental issues of the homeless and things like that. We're going to clean up that area downtown, which is Skid Row. My God, my dad has been saying that for years. Like he said, since the early 60s, he said Skid Row was a thing. And he said they've been trying to clean that up ever since then. And it doesn't matter, Republican, independent, what do you call it? What am I blanking on the other one? Democrat. It doesn't matter. Like literally nothing ever gets solved. And it's just like, where does all the money go? Because I do see new stuff getting built down there, but I don't see them taking any of them people off the street. I still see the same drug, rampant areas, and it's even worse up there in Seattle. It's bad in Portland. I would live in Oregon. I just would be way far away from Portland. And the same thing with Seattle. I would live in Washington, but I would just live nowhere close to downtown Seattle. I've been up there several times, and they don't take care of anything. Okay, the Angels are now on the clock. It's now the 47th pick that's going to be coming in. Brandon Compton, an outfielder, just went to the Marlins. So the Angels are on the clock. Let's see who they get here. And Youth Movement indeed right now. Eric says he thinks they're going for another starter right now, or a mid-level starter. Tamir 20 says the homeless industrial complex. Exactly. Mo says I used to work near Skid Row. It's like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood on crack. Well, now it's on fentanyl. So fentanyl, yes. Compton in Miami, Q Lombardi. I've always said this, and this is a funny thing I've always been told. Nothing ever, and it was a joke, so it was by a comedian, and he said nothing ever good happens on a Martin Luther King Boulevard, which Martin Luther King Boulevard is like all throughout the United States. Pretty much in every state, there's at least one, but there's never anything good happening on that street. So just like Compton, no matter where you would go to, there's probably something not good or something nefarious going on in the Compton, even if it's a Compton, Nevada. But let's see who the Angels get right here. They're projected to make at least $2 million on this pick as a signing bonus. So we'll see, or as a contract, I should say. And it's going to be Chase Shores, LSU, and it's a pitcher. So we didn't get the pitcher I thought we would get, but we get Chase Shores. Shores was one of the biggest and hardest throwing members of the 2022 high school class. He stands 6'8", 240 pounds. He pushes his fastball up to 98 miles per hour. He priced himself out of the draft and headed to Louisiana State, where he made an immediate impression as a midweek starter and weekend reliever before blowing out his elbow and having Tommy John surgery in 2023. After missing the Tigers' run to the national title and sitting out 2024, he regained his velocity but struggled to find his consistency on the mound for the most part of the spring before earning 2 saves, including the championship clincher in the College World Series. Shores can hit 101 miles per hour and works a 94 to 98 miles per hour fastball routinely, but his heater is featuring less arm side run and overpowering hitters less than he did in the past. While his mid-80s slider has good depth, it has been his most reliable pitch since 2025. He doesn't always land for strikes, which is a problem, or get many chases with it, which is a problem. He actually trusted his fading upper 80s changeup, which is a problem, more than his slider as a freshman, though it has been getting hammered this year. Well, that's great. More athletic than most players his size, Shores should be able to keep his long limbs in sync with his low three-quarters delivery as he gains more experience. To this point, he has succeeded by relying more on chases than precise location, which is a problem, and his pitches haven't tempted hitters to stray as much as this spring. He has first-round arm talent. Must learn to harness it. So, what I'm getting out of this pickup right now, right-handed pitcher, 6'8", Louisiana State. We basically got the Timu Louisiana State pitcher. We had the right one on the board, and now you look at this guy, Chase Shores, and to me, this screams project, because just like right here, we had someone comment, another Ben Joyce M-Dog says, I couldn't agree more. Ben Joyce is a guy who's just an injury away from career over, but he's also a good hot streak away from being one of the best closers in the league. He's a project, and has been a project, and will be a project because he's coming off the injury stuff. Velocity sounds great, but you're talking about a guy who's already had a TJ. Check mark for us. That's good. But a guy who's got the velocity and the repertoire of pitches, but he is not precise with them. What are we doing? Okay, you see, this is why I hate drafts in general in any sport. Because when you go on to ESPN, they hype up every fucking thing. It's the next day of the first round draft, right? And they're already in football saying, well, this team's got an F. This team did an A. How in the fuck do you know? You don't know for 3 or 4 years. And that's the problem, even in baseball. This one right now, if you get the Monday morning quarterback, if we're doing the ESPN stuff right now, I'm saying it's an F. The first 2 picks is an F. Where we just sat for weeks and weeks and weeks and said, the Angels really have to hit on this draft. They really have to hit on this draft. They cannot afford to fumble this draft. This is the most important draft in Angels history. We were saying stuff like that. So if you're just to go and say firsthand impressions, what do you think of the first 2 picks that the Angels did? F. That's just because of what was left on what is still on the board, what was on the board, and what they took. Again, Brennan could be really good. I could be totally wrong. And we're grading this thing 3 years later, and he's already in the majors winning 10 to 12 games, right? Same thing with Shore now. This dude could be an electric number 3 or number 4, right? Who knows? Who knows? But on paper, with all the players that we passed up, with all the talent that is just fumbled by the wayside, how could you not be disappointed in these first 2 picks? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, am I the only one? Am I the one that's like, hey man, you're being too hard on these guys? You're being too hard on Perry? I'll entertain that. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm just telling you how I feel right now. Right now, just describing to you who that kid is, what he's gone through, what his numbers are, and he's a project for a team. Again, we're not the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're not the New York Yankees. We're not teams that have major league ready. You know, that look, the Pirates have a plan to suck for a while and it can afford to work with projects. The New York Yankees have enough talent on the roster to where they can draft a guy who could be possibly great in 4 years. They don't need him now. Unfortunately, we need players now because we're not going to rebuild. We're going to restock. So that's why Neto, Shonawell, and other guys are up here. We need players now. I'm dumbfounded. I really am. I can't say it. I just, the right thing would have been to get the guys that are surefire because you're going to wind up bringing them up. This organization, again, Brendan could be really good and I could be really wrong. But you need to fire up this organization and the fan base, and you need to have guys to just be ready. This franchise cannot afford to, with a game plan that they're trying to use, to freaking bring on projects. They can't. And we did. Oh, man. We are going to see players that are drafted roll through these organizations. We'll see Holiday and we'll see all these other players come through. And the only thing I'm going to say is, will we see our guys at the same time come through the system? Are our guys going to make it, or are we going to just be sitting there waiting for twiddling our thumbs? Still waiting our guys to make the squad. Oh, shit. No shit. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So this kind of makes me happy. This makes me happy. So I'm a Warren High School alumni in Downey, California. And Angel Cervantes, he played a little football too. And he got drafted to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Way to go, Angel. Oh, I love it. That's okay, I saw him play in SoFi a couple years ago, and Warren's baseball team, when I was there, we went to CIF a couple years. That's how I got a walk-on spot because they were scouting other Warren players the year I went to the minors. I got a walk-on spot. He's committed to UCLA. He's out of Warren High School as a right-handed pitcher, but he got drafted by the Pirates, so he has an option to leave, but he would be giving up about $2 million. So I don't think he'll do that. So it says his best pitch is what he calls a Bugs Bunny, a changeup that has tremendous depth. It has swing and miss stuff. His breaking stuff and his distinct shape for a separate curve and slider, a little behind, but he routinely registers high spin rates on them. His fastball is 90 to 95. Man, I mean, come on. Like, if the Angels really had let's get better and take a few years, I would have picked this kid up in a heartbeat because this is a project, but a good project. This guy has all kinds of upside. 17 years old? Are you kidding me? Hell yeah, dude. Angel Cervantes, way to go, young man. See, that makes me happy. That makes me happy. That kid's going to an organization that'll take their time with him. He's going to go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh doesn't have the best run organization, but they do well with their minors as far as teaching them. They and as far as like helping them to advance. That's why you see a lot of the Pirates eventually move on to the Yankees and other teams and become superstars. But that's awesome, man. A young kid here from the Downey area. I'm in Whittier now, but when I lived in Downey, he went to Warren High School. I just saw that pop up, dude. Way to fucking go. See, I was feeling all depressed right now, and I still am. But good luck, Angel Cervantes, man. I love that. I love that. So at least that makes me feel a little bit better. Mo says, love it. Another TJ catastrophe right there. Why are we drafting someone with a TJ? Chase Shores right there. No one's really happy right there. 5 ERA. Man, 4 walks per 9 innings. Again, electric stuff, but he can't find the control. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, I never heard of so many young pitchers coming out of college and high school. They need to have more arm problems. It's because they don't work out enough. Time to crack open a 6-pack. Can I drink with you? Man. Also, Artie Money under slot value Moreno. M-Dog says Brenner is nasty. I don't think he's getting enough love he deserves. Anderson was definitely the right pick, though. Exactly. That's the problem we have right now. If Jason Blood goes to the Nationals, he would make a great tandem with Mackenzie Gore. Jeez, this guy. Always. Pac-Man. Yeah, this serves, I guess, if you're thinking about how the draft has gone. Yep. Angels fumbled the bag, set them back 7 more years. Also, where's your optimism, Todd? I love that right there. Also, could have gotten Jamie Arnold. Also, how many Heisman winners were studs in the NFL? None of us really knows that's what these players will pan out. That's true. That's all. That's true. And Eric Ward says, hey. And it's only going to be a matter of time before we see these guys on Bally's. Because they're going to invite them into the booth, man. Man, I just don't get it, man. Marcus Phillips was the guy. 2 starters for Tennessee right there. May as well go to Anaheim High School and get the first-round pick. She's also Artie says, or M-Dog says, I don't think we should be completely negative quite yet. Look at Mark Epple. So much hype, but now he's a actual nobody. Same thing with Kumar Rocker. But again, you just love to see Tamir 20 says this is going to be another 20 pitch draft. Maybe. Mo says at Todd Fox loves the Dodgers. How's the sandpaper dildo in your rectum? Cruz Schoolcraft says 2025 Angels worst draft in MLB history, next to the draft where they drafted all the pitchers in the draft, and they drafted Taylor Ward in the first round and celebrated in the green room. Man, oh man, a lot of miscues to talk about. Also, Reddy says, hey, I played for Anaheim High School. So did my boy Jose Rojas, guys ranking AAA in the Yankees. Yeah, we're not saying it's bad, bro. It's just all in all, you know what I mean? Like Artie would just stay in city instead of doing any kind of research or going outside the boundaries. Passed on Holiday and Hernandez, fire Perry. We sure did suck. Great day for all the kids. Let's see. Don Hammond says absolute bullshit draft so far. Dumbass GM doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's got to go, plain and simple. Living the dream right there. Rod Fox says for the 79th pick, we select Gavin's tasty nut out of You know what? That would not surprise me one bit.
Crazy. Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls, and welcome back. What's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson. Don't get it twisted. You've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. It's hard. It's hard. Oh, man. It feels great. Oh, yummy. Oh, how about a yummy? Oh, come on. Magic. Oh, my goodness. Guys, tasting nut.
All I know is that if you were to listen to those Locked On douchebags, I'm pretty sure that they are going to somehow wax poetic how great of a pickup the number 2 pick is too, or they're probably going to be like, yeah, that's who they were going to get the whole time. Jesus Christ. We drafted Tommy instead of Angel. Tommy John instead of Angel. Also, let's see. Tony C says, listen to Perry needs to go. The Angels are so effed up. Bye, Perry. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Perry is pulling another Jerry DiPoto before they left the Angels in shambles. That's really pathetic. He did drain the freaking minors before he took off. Angels, why you ruin it? Also, Todd, you need to pound a couple beers. I'm down, bro. I sure am too, man. Eric says, what do you think about your boy Trent's would sum up the draft? He probably would be like, I like this pick a lot. And, he's got a lot of upside. And in about 7 years, he's going to make this rotation really good as a number 5. Those, you guys are in Hong Kong. Let's see. So Todd, that GM sure did suck last night. Yep. Sprisley McNutt with the next pick. Man, oh, man. I think that's it for me, man. I think I'm tapping out. I jumped in for about an hour and a half or so, and we've so far been on, about an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 15. But we're not picking for another 30 picks or so, and it could be in a little while. We'll probably put put it on our social media, the guy we picked next. But this has been disappointing. Again, I hate to do it because these guys are our boys now, and you got to ride with them, but there's so many other guys you could have picked that could have been they could be players for a long time. When we drafted Christian Moore last year, everyone was super happy. I didn't hear nothing negative about Christian Moore because you knew at some point that this team was going to be, that he was going to make it to the majors. And not so much with these guys. You don't have that. All right, we got this guy. We feel good. You see all the other teams nabbing up all these players, and they're probably thinking, what the hell are the Angels doing? They're like Lombardi right now. When they're picking right below us or in front of us, they're thinking, what are the Angels up to? What the hell's going on out here? I think that's right now, all of us. Marty says it too. Bro hug. Appreciate it, Eric. I need one. I think that's it for me, man. I'm tapping out. I'm going to get me some dinner. Steely's is not calling me, but I am just I'm frustrated. I'm just going to be frustrated. Alkir the Fear says, if you're going to internet scout, at least watch videos or do something. We have a great young core, yet I'm seeing no faith in the scouting department for some reason. Okay. See, right when I'm ready to jump off. I hope you're still on here and just didn't make a comment and run. I will say this. Tell me who they've pitched or who they've drafted over the last few years that is in the rotation and is solid, and we've been excited from draft day moving forward. And go. Nothing? That's right. Because we really haven't drafted any good starting pitching. You can't say Griffin Canning was one of them because New York fixed him for him just to get hurt, but he was having an all-star year. You look at Sanchez. Is Soriano good though? Out here. To me, he's getting there. Detmers, he's so good that he's out of the rotation and in the bullpen. Who else? Who else you got? Silseth? Oh, he can't come up here. We throw the ball at his head and then he can't come back up. I'm waiting. Sandoval, gone. Do we develop any of these starters? Do we so what if he's throwing one hitters? Do we develop any of these guys into major league, I'm winning 10 to 15 game pitchers a year? No. Now, again, if you were watching the show earlier out here, I said core 5. We have a ton of good talent in that lineup moving forward. And if Paris can get his self fixed hitting wise, that's 6 good core players right there. Between Adele, Shonawell, Ohapi, Neto, the list goes on and more. But again, who in there have we drafted that is anywhere close to Jared Weaver as far as you can say he's our Chuck Finley every year, meaning he's our ace every year. He's our Jared Weaver. He's the guy who came through our organization. The last guy you can maybe say is the late, great Tyler Skaggs. Passed away. Right? He was working himself as far as to becoming an ace of the Angels. He passed away. Who, Andrew Heaney? You're going to tell me Andrew Heaney was a good draft pick? This organization is complete ass backwards when it comes to evaluating starting pitching. Again, I've said it. Soriano's got great stuff. I said it. Kowanowitz, who a lot of people argue with me, got great stuff. But Kowanowitz, you know who he sounds like? The guy we just drafted, who, again, they went down Shore's stuff and said, the guy's got good stuff, but he can't pinpoint his pitches. So same thing with Kowanowitz. Kowanowitz has got probably, again, if you look at his sinker compared to Soriano, it's a better sinker. It's got way more movement, but he can't pinpoint his fastball, and he can't locate some of his other pitches. And when his bread and butter isn't hitting, well, guess what? Everybody hits him. And when Soriano's not locating that sinker and not pinpointing that fastball, everything else is up in the zone. And guess what happened today? Again, walking guys, getting into trouble, throwing too many pitches. Boom. So again, dude, I am trying to be as nice as I possibly can, but I can't sit here, and I'm not the locked on assholes that just like to see a nice steamy turd come out of one of their boyfriend's assholes and paint it to whatever color they want it. I can't do that. I can't look at the Angels and say, this rotation can match up with any rotation in baseball. No. If the Angels were competitive and fighting for a playoff spot, a real playoff spot in August and September, and we have a 3-game set with Detroit, or we have a 3-game set with Boston or New York. I know we've already played them, but let's just say hypothetically we have a big series coming up, or we have a big series coming up with. Throw those teams away. We have a big 3-game series coming up with Seattle, and they're right there. They're the team we need to jump to get into the playoffs to break this long streak, right? And I look at my friends, I look at you, I get on here and I say, hey, you know what? How are we going to beat this team? Seattle's got really good pitching. How are we going to beat this team? And I'm going to have to tell you, well, it's going to be if our pitchers pitch above their heads like they've been doing. They just got to get it to the bullpen, get us 5 or 6 innings. Hopefully the bullpen can hold it down. Guys like Reed Detmers, guys like, if we ever get Stevenson back, stuff like that, we can get to our main guys and we can shut them down. But we're going to have to score. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. We got to generate offense. We've got, and so again, going up against a team like Seattle that relies heavily on pitching, we're at a loss already because we don't have the pitching to match theirs. We're going to have to rely on a young core of inexperienced hitters and guys who just swing out of their ass like Taylor Ward and don't do productive outs, Mancada, that hurt us. And Soler, we've got to hope that all those guys can hit on a night that we play Seattle to then win, because we're going to have to rely on our hitting more than our pitching. We're going to know that our pitching is going to give up some runs, whereas Seattle can come in there and be like, all right, I think we're going to give up only 2 tonight. We should be good. We just got to score this much. See, the Angels have to score 4 or more. We can't get into these pitcher duels because we don't have the arms to do it. Kikuchi can do it every now and then. Anderson was another Kikuchi, but he's fallen off. So again, we don't have this rotation to where I'm like, all right, I feel good about this series. No, it's like, man, can we mash? Can we keep up with them? Because we're going to give up some runs. Hendrick's going to give up some runs. Soriano's going to give up some runs. Even Kikuchi's going to give up some runs. We're going to have to score. And even then we get in our own way because we fuck around with analytics too much. So a situation that calls for a bunt, we don't do that. A situation that calls for a staying out of a double play and having if we have runners at the corners, we don't have the runner from first steal second. We don't do that. We don't do hit and runs. We don't do productive things like that. It's always swing for the fences. And the rare times that we do, we actually do put up runs. And again, our record is something stupid like 36-15 when scoring 4 runs or more. But you got to get to that upper echelon of scoring those 4 runs. You got to get to that goal. And this team rarely does that on a consistent basis. That's why we are a 500 team. I'm not shitting on this organization that I love so much. I'm just shitting on their decisions. And the fact that they don't understand what we see on the outside. The little things can make a huge difference. I don't know who's behind their drafting or their scouting. I just know that right now, internationally, we're doing far better than we do locally and with these colleges and high schools. International signings this team has made over the last few years have been fairly good. We're seeing another good pitcher come up through the marks, and that's Fermin. But in this drafting situation, it's not the Disney organization. Disney organization, you had full and utter, confidence in. I don't see it here. I just don't see it. And I'm not picking on you, Alcare. It's just I was frustrated because, again, we just came off 99-game losing season. Like you said, we're not supposed to have a World Series rotation. No shit. We're not supposed to have a rotation that's going to take us into the World Series. But we should have something that's going to make us competitive. And for us to get back to 81-81, that's fine. But to take the next step, you need to make the right draft picks. You need to get the right people in place. So it's not only on the major league side, whether it's free agency, whether it's through trades, you have to do it in the minor leagues through scouting and international signings. And then you also have to do it in the front office. The front office has to be on the same goddamn trajectory as the GM. They all have to be working together. There can't be these inner squabblings. There can't be these other nerds and StatCast assholes like Sauerback and his team from Boston that are controlling the Angels. Those assholes can't be interfering with what we want to do on the field, but they are. And that's why we're making picks like this, because again, when you think Angels analytics, the most Angel thing to happen always happens because of analytics, relying too much on stupid shit instead of gut, instead of feel, instead of the right move, period. There should be a way to go about doing things, and this team has no fucking clue how to stick to a point and understand, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to stick with it. If something changes, then we make that adjustment. Because I was talking with Jim, and not to go too far off, but when the Angels had Socha here, and this is before analytics ruined this franchise, Socha called every ball, and he called every play on the field. And so they would go into it. Joe Madden said it on his podcast as well. We've interviewed a few players that said the same exact thing. Mike Scioscia would go into a game with a game plan because of a certain pitcher who was getting a start for the opponent, right? So the opponent would have a starting pitcher to where it dictated, okay, this guy's more of a swing and miss type pitcher. We're going to have to play small ball. If for whatever reason the small ball wasn't working and his pitches were up in the zone or something like that, and he was attacking the zone more and not getting hitters to chase, Mike Scioscia had the power and utilized the power to make in-game adjustments. So the first time around through the lineup, he was seeing a different pitcher than what they scouted for that particular night. Well, guess what? Mike Scioscia gave the green light because he was the green light to then change the at-bats for each additional player. Not just say all 9 of you guys start swinging for the fences. No, I want Ibar to do this. I want Erstad to do that. I want this guy to do that. And it worked. And that's why the Angels were so dangerous for so long, because he had the right gut feelings. He had the right tools. Now, is it going to be like that now? No, the game has changed. But can you at least give us some of that gut feeling back, the gut decisions back? And we can have someone in charge to make those right decisions, have a general manager in charge to make those right decisions, have a group of team or team of players, not players, but assistants to the GM, and also scouts that work together and know what we're going to do. Because right now it doesn't feel like anybody's on any kind of page. And if they are, it only works for a couple days, and then some numbnuts decides to say, no, I'm overranking you today. We're changing this. And it throws everything out the window when maybe you had success doing what you guys were doing. Jesus says, reminder, signed Ohtani and got nothing for him in free agency. Exactly. You could have had, again, we've talked about 3 or 4 players. 3 or 4 trades over the last 2 or 3 years that involved Ohtani that were poo-pooed by Artie Moreno. And one of them pissed me off. It was 2 years when he still had a year of control left and a half season. Tampa offered 7 players. Baltimore offered 6 players. The last year of his contract as a rental, Tampa offered 3 players, and you got nothing. Don Hammond sums it up right there. Eric Ward, the same thing. And we have to realize season to season, it's like this until Artie is gone. LAX says, I need help players. LAX, okay. Mario says, it all goes back to ownership. Enough said. Alcare says, 1 ring on basically a fluke comeback. We weren't that dangerous. If you remember, Alcare, that started the team. That was probably the Angels getting going before they did. 2003 was a terrible year. Transition, trading, selling the team from Disney so they didn't spend any money. Disney lost $10 million that year. Artie recouped the team and all went in using Disney organizational people up and down the organization. The scouts, everything, kept everything in place because the Angels had one of the best farm systems. They were able to bring players up. They got Bartolo Colon, they got Jose Guillen, they got Juan Rivera, they got Orlando Cabrera, they got Vladimir Guerrero. The list went on. The team competed and was like 1 or 2 outs away from beating the White Sox, going up 2-0. And then all hell broke loose, and Przinsky and the White Sox turned the tide and won. Otherwise, the Angels were right there in the American League Championship Series looking for that second title. They would have swept the Houston Astros. I'll fight anybody till the day I die. They would have beaten the fucking Astros. So you would have had 2 titles. And then you had the 07 year, which was pretty good. The 09 year, that was pretty good. 10 was all right. 09, they could have went to the World Series. So, no, they weren't a one-hit wonder. Scioscia had them on a 10-year plan. And then you had finally Artie's guys and the fungus infiltrating. And somehow, some way, everything clicked in 2014 after a couple down years for the Angels. And they had their last playoff run, and they won almost 100, or they did 100 games in 2014. So Scioscia knew what he was doing for a good while. And no, we did not win a ring with Vlad, but we were there on the cusp many times. And in the playoffs, routinely, year after year. What have we done lately is more the question that you should be asking out here. Is what have you done for me lately? And I see a whole bunch of nothing. I see Christmas in June. I see Star Wars weekend. I see country weekend up until this year. There's throwback weekend. So if I can say the list of accomplishments for Artie Moreno, I could say, boy, he sure knows how to market things, just like his billboards, living up to whatever he does good, which is that's it. Ignoring the fact that if he would just put a decent product on the fucking field, you'd have the place 40,000 every night. You'd be winning and making more money in the postseason, whether they were a first round exit or not. But no, he's too stupid to understand that. The whole organization is ass backwards. Ass backwards. Toro says also, and we didn't get swept by Boston every year. We beat Boston to go further. Turo says, is it still fuck AJ Pierzynski to this day? Absolutely. Fuck that guy. Even though he's on a podcast, which is somewhat good every now and then, he's still an asshole. Still an asshole to this day. Alberto says, it appears that Farty only cares about winning the Freeway Series. Yeah. And Mo says, at Alkier, one ring against roided Bonds, stacked Yankees, streaking Twins. That is true. So the Angels had a good run. And if you look at the Dodgers in between that time of 2002 to, I want to say they started to get good around 2011, 2012. That's when they started to reappear in the playoffs. They were out of the playoffs the whole time. And we all thought back then that Artie was doing something stupid, but they were really pushing the envelope with all those billboards downtown by LAX, by Angels, by Dodger Stadium, saying LA's team with the Angel logo. They were really pushing it and really trying to jab it. And I think that was part of helping the Dodgers get back on the right way because they were tired of getting bullied. For once, the redheaded stepchild was bullying the favored son. I mean, it's not like they won ring after ring. I mean, just imagine, though. Say, for instance, the Angels get it done in 2005 and get it done in 2009. That's 3 rings in less than 10 years. They would still be the Clippers of LA if considering them LA, which we hate. But you think about it, that team, you know, it would have gotten the Dodgers to where they're at right now, and they didn't even win those rings because the Dodgers where they're at right now are miles ahead of where the Angels are, and it's sad. But the Angels were once feared in this local market. Man, I swear to God. He says, right now we have the best young core in a decade, so I'm excited to see what Tyler Brenner can do. I don't give a damn about the MLB rankings. It's 90% blog writers meet writing each other. And that's your opinion. And I'm not saying it's wrong because you could very well be right. I don't think you're right about the other stuff because the proof is in the pudding. We know what the team did. We know how close they were. We know how good they were. But as far as your take on Brenner and the other pitcher that we got today, sure. Yeah, you could be 100% right. I could be 100% wrong. I even said it. Right now I give it an F. But who's to say I'm right or not? Because they still got to play the games. He still got to get in the organization. Hell, they got to sign. So again, I don't mean no disrespect. I'm just saying we could have did a lot better. Could have did a lot better where I see all these other guys making, like I see Seth Hernandez making the Pirates in like 2 or 3 years on their major league rosters. I see Kaden Anderson making the Mariners next year. And that's the problem with that is like we didn't get the surefire guys. We could be wrong. Maybe Brennan is the ace for the next few years to go. But you got to admit that's not the way you would have went. And I am happy about the core too. I'm the one that gave him the fucking name in the first place. Core 5, now trying to get the core 6 with Paris in there. It's a nice thing to think about. And it's really good to think that this team could be better in the first place in the next couple of years, but you still need pitching no matter what. Eric says we all love the young core. Alberto also says you want to talk about cursed. Everyone knows Skaggs and Aiden Hart. There's also Lyman Bostock, Mike Miley, Dick Wantz, who was also died while playing as the Angels. Donnie Moore committed suicide. Think about that too. I mean, you're not even thinking about you didn't bring up what's his name? He was with the Angels too. The guy who died in Cuba, Villanueva. I think you had him pass away. There was a bunch of players that have died, with the Angels that were like on the cusp or whatever. Mario says, as much as I want to, I can't hate on AJ. He did what he did for his team. As a former catcher, I always tag the batter regardless if I truly caught the ball or not. And that was on Josh Paul. So he did make the right play. I think that where Angels fans hate AJ Przinsky is he's always come back to embrace the bad guy role. So he's tipped his cap when they've yelled at him and booed him in the past. Especially, I've been there at the games. So I've seen it. Strange 26 wants to say, hey, man, no matter what, no arguing on this page. We have a lot of what?
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Exactly. Our starters are so shitty to mid. The kid would be up here fast. That is true. Fernando says Paris won't be around much longer. I hope not. I think he's getting the grill master. Well, he's got time, dude. He's got some moves. I don't think they give up on him that fast. Alcair says I would have gone Holiday so we would have a third baseman. See, I mean, and that's a good take. That's a great take because there's no wrong or right answer. There's just like a percentage of what could be like what you should have did. So you can say, okay, I'm a reach by going down here where it's not so popular is what the Angels did. Instead of going for the high percentage player up here, they went for the reach. So yeah. And like Alcair says, hey, I would have added a third baseman. And that way you would have had, Holiday, you would have had Neto, Moore, and Shonowell. I mean, that's fucking exciting, right? That's a great infield. Couple that with freaking Ohapi, and then Adele and Paris. If Paris, like I said, Paris gets right, we sweep Ward out of there. We find another left fielder because fuck Ward. And then guess what? You have a team, and that sounds great. But then always the one question that comes back to you is, who's going to pitch? Who's going to pitch? And I like the sound of Holiday or a position player at third base for the Angels. But again, who's going to pitch? And it's been really tough as an Angel fan. I mean, we got a little taste of maybe Shohei Ohtani could be the ace of the Angels. But we all know his arm can't hold up. And boy, if you're a Dodger fan and you're fooling yourself, there's a reason why he's only pitching 2 innings here, 2 innings there. And they're going to say, oh, we're going to get him up to 4 and 5 innings. You're looking at a $700 million great hitter, Hall of Fame hitter. But you're looking at a $700 million closer. I bet my right butt cheek he's a closer in less than 2 years. I guarantee you they're going to give up on him as a starter, and he will be a closer for the Dodgers. I guarantee you. And that's probably the right move. Because Shohei can just be like, hey, let me take off this elbow pad. Let me start warming up. I'll be ready in the 9th inning. I got you, guy. And he'll come in there, and he'll close out the game. And he'll probably rank 40, 50 saves. But you're paying an awful lot of money for him. Eric Ward says, I liked Holiday. I would have liked him. Mo says, at Todd Fox loves the Dodgers. The best player was an Angel. Trout is a Hall of Famer. All your stats come from other teams. That's true. Mookie Betts, Boston Red Sox, Freeman, Atlanta Brave. I mean, they do buy their teams as good as any other team out there. I think as good as the Yankees did. But at least the Yankees had a hardcore, like, they brought Derek Jeter up. I'm trying to remember their other players that they had at the time. Bernie Williams, Mariano Rivera. They did have a core guys, but they did bring other players from other teams. Come on now. Yeah, Aaron says it best right here. You have the second pick and you take the best player available, man, if you can. A little bit there, unless you really need a pitcher. I think you take the best pitcher if you can. Holiday is not going to stay on the left side of the infield long term is an issue. That's a good point there. Abardo says Artie needs to be caught on the EDP 445. Type case ASAP. I remember that. Yeah, maybe he could be close to an Anaheim school and get himself into trouble. Eric Ward says, been a good weekend regardless. I got to meet Shonawell and got a jersey signed. I love the Halos, win or lose. Fuck it. He's honking. And F. Otani, he sold his soul. He did. And that's why, again, I don't like saying his name, but had to for this podcast or had to for this show. Boy, we turned this into a long-ass show. This was not supposed to be this long of a show, but again, as I was trying to get out of here, credit to him or her, or I think it's a him. Alkier came up with a good arguing point. And again, it's not – I don't like arguing with fans. It's not that. It's just like I rather have a conversation. I'm not yelling, and we never go personal on here. So I hope you didn't take it personal, Alkier. But yeah, I'm a very passionate Angels fan. And just like everybody else on this page, and we can always agree to disagree. I have no issues with that whatsoever. And it's just one of those things where this is like instant reaction. That's why we love doing the post-game shows, because it is instant reaction. It's instant clap back. We read the comments. Everyone's either in it or they're not, or they're feeling great or they're not. And yeah, I mean, emotions run high when you love a team as much as we do. And also not only is loving the franchise, loving the organization, or loving the fact that it's Anaheim, it's your backyard, it's a tradition, it's family, it brings family together, brings friends together. It's just the whole thing of, man, we want the same goal. We may not like this, have the same religion, we might not like the same politics, but we all get along when that team in Anaheim plays. And we all get along and have a good time. And that's what it's all about, dude. I love high-fiving people in the stands that I don't even fucking know. And it's just all smiles when there's a big play happening. That's what it's all about. And and when I bring all that shit up, it's just to say, you want things to go good for your organization, because you're an investor. You're investing your time, your money, your family, everything into this organization to have a good time, for all the wraparound. And you feel good as you leave the ramps or elevators or escalators at the stadium, or get into your car and drive home safely, right? You just want it to all feel good. You want to have a good time and have, a great family time and enjoy yourself, and be able to brag that your team made the playoffs, that your team won a World Series, that you have a Hall of Famer retired his number, or you're going to have a Hall of Famer retired, or you have a favorite player that you're geeked up to see, like a Shonawell, like Eric Ward said. So it all comes down to all those variables, and I think emotions run high when you're hoping that you get the player that you want, or that the franchise needs, and that it's going to be better for your fandom moving forward. And a lot of us see this as just a stumbling block. So but we'll see. I hope that we're wrong. I hope that the rest of the draft goes beautifully, and I'm hoping that all these players turn out. Believe me, I'm not. Again, if you're wearing Angels on the front, as much as I hated Squid, as much as I'm not a Taylor Ward fan whatsoever, as long as he's on the Angels, he's got to do good. I cheer for him at the games. I just boo him when he does stupid shit. But I do want, if he's contributing, he's our best hitter. Yeah, of course. I love the guy, even though I may not like his style, but that's how it is to be a fan, man. Sometimes you're torn, and I'm torn definitely today, and I know a lot of you are as well. So glad to talk with you guys today. I'm glad Fernando did his shit, and so did Rob earlier in the day. Great job, fellas, breaking down the first round, also giving your commentary and everything else, and everyone else that was on the show. I really appreciate everybody. Last few comments here. Alkier says, not at all same here. Hopefully we can sneak into the wild card this year. If we're more than 3 games out, sell at the deadline. 100%. Great take. Because yeah, I don't want them to overpay and spend too much to get a little and not make it. And but I would like for them to sell off some assets to further bolster the minors. And yeah, I mean, I would love for them to sneak into the playoffs too. Believe me, I think they have the talent to do it without a trade. I really do. But they're going to lose some games because of the lack of pitching. But I think we have the hitting to sometimes make up for that. It's just we have to all be on the same page. If only we can all be investors and vote Artie off the team. Yeah, if this was the Packers, that would be great. Taylor Swifty Ward. Love it. Todd loves some squid. No, and that's not dress all like squid. So for Todd Fox and everybody on the Heedy Network, we took the loss today. Trade draft is up in the air long term. Who's right? Who's wrong? Let's just go with it, no matter the emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
And whoever gets picked later in the rounds, let's root for them. Because we're by winning right now. We win here and we win there.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Now what? All right, so we'll see you after the break. I'm not going to be doing any shows in between that I know of. Maybe sneaking a game or sneaking a show with James. But until then, enjoy the All-Star break. I might be sneaking onto a show also on Top Fan Rivalry. If you have that page, if you like that page, they're going to be doing a home run derby thing. I might sneak over there to Bruheim and do a show with them, or at least jump on for a little bit. Other than that, enjoy the All-Star break, and we'll be back at it, and we'll be doing the post-game shows covering your Halos like nobody else does, and we'll be in the stands when they come back home as well, shaking hands and kissing babies, baby. Go Angels. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Moist.